What's up, y'all? It is 5:59 here on the East Coast, and so we're just in time for an arena. And the title is real. Tell me what opening you want me to play, and I'll play it. Preference for subscribers and supers and such, but anybody can go ahead and comment. Von Papiel, you got it. I'll play d4 even for my first game. What's up, 6r8?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Dutch,
4,
Russo,
3,
Gambit.
2, 1,
Got you.
0.
If you are a subscriber on YouTube, you certainly have preference. Dutch. Okay, we have a Dutch request. All right, here's what I'm going to do. Oh, this guy's from Canada. So let's play Dutch. So I'm going to play e6 to play f5 next turn. Okay. This way, he had the option for a French, but I actually took away kind of the better options for the Dutch, I feel like. And I'll explain what I mean after the game. So my opponent is actually doing smart stuff here. Let's counter this. Because, okay, I could stonewall, but this is actually a good setup for a stonewall. Like, the Dutch gives good options for stonewall, but, like, their f-pawn is still there to take control. So let's play b6 here. I could give this check. Could just trade. Yeah, bishop here. Yeah, the g3 setup is smart, certainly. Let's put our bishop on just e7. I don't know where else he would go. G3 setup against this is smart. We're still going to fight for the square, which is kind of the centerpiece. Yeah, so it's smart of them to delay this, because I would have wanted bishop b4. In fact, I'm still considering doing it. Anyway, let's just castle. See what they want to do here. This is probably how I'm going to set up. I don't want to block this bishop. Okay, 3. They're looking at b4. Not too worried about that. I could play knight e4. Would I want f takes e4? I don't think so. Just keep it simple with d6 here. Okay, they can play this move if they want. Thing is, a5 actually blocked this bishop, so they're actually okay just playing bishop b2, protecting their rook from a trade here. Alright, no matter. I'm okay just going knight d7, just normal stuff. Actually, wait. Oh, I think I blundered this move, knight g5. Because it hits here, I would have to take knight takes e6, hits my queen, and I can't counterattack the knight, so they would recapture and win. So we got away with one. Alright, let's proceed with knight e4. It's a safe move. Because still, like, yes, this bishop's unprotected, but I can play knight takes c3, which has tempo on the queen, so they can't grab b7. And I'd safely just trade these light square bishops. So the knight's coming to d7. I got away with one, as I said. And now it is coming to f6. And we're looking at that square, as I mentioned. Okay, rook c1 played. Do I take and replace? Perhaps. I mean, another idea is f4. It's a pretty serious idea. Knight g4 is actually quite interesting, because I think it forces rook f1. I think you can't take it because f takes and then would open everybody onto f2. So knight g4 would force rook f1. Do I have a follow-up to this move? Not that I see. I'm going to play kind of, because I'm not really sure what to do, queen e8, which I feel like is a categorically useful move. I think like these ideas could be interesting. Using the fact that I've moved this f-pawn, it's one of William Gray's favorite ideas. Okay, so they jump away from the trays. c7 is hanging. It's kind of annoying to just step back. Rook c8, I guess they take. And it's actually kind of annoying because then knight b5 and it would hit me again. Queen h5 is kind of what I want to do. I just feel like I lose too much stuff, yeah? I mean. Maybe. Alright, let's do something simple. The thing is just bishop d8, there is c5. And somehow I feel like... No, there is not c5. My queen is actually well positioned to stop c5. So this is actually just a very simple move. Bishop was doing nothing, and we parry away what was kind of bothersome. Knight d2. So if I take it, this is what I was kind of talking about before, that this hangs. Let's just proceed with like our queen h5 stuff, or even queen g6. In fact, I have some really interesting ideas, like take, king takes, check, king g1. Oh! Oh, no way, I'm too smart. No way. This works, this works, this works. Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. I hit the queen, so there's no taking b7, right? You have to recapture here. Then I go knight check, king g1. Then I take on g2. Right, I take on g2, king takes g2. There's knight e3, fork. So you can't. Where do you go with the king? You go here, that's worse. That's the only other spot. I mean, they realize it now, but there was no way out of this. In fact, probably better to not take the knight. But then, okay, it's still bad. Okay, wait. Let's focus up here. So knight e3, I could play queen b3. I would have to take with a knight. This is also compelling. It's quite compelling. I guess they would play... No. I think we're getting a little too testy here. Knight f1 would cover both these things. So let's take this. Very smart. Very smart. They don't even have h3 to hit the knight. Yeah, they really needed this queenside breakthrough here with c5, but my queen has been eyeing this knight the whole time. This is smart. Wow. We got away with that. All right. Just as I said, my queen is doing good. Bishop g5 is also... Well, I don't need to give them anything. Let's go here. I mean, no way you can take this. Takes... Yeah, it's mate, no matter what. So, yeah, my pieces are working in beautiful harmony here, because my bishop is actually stopping the knight from coming over to guard h2 in either spot. Obviously, you don't have h3. h4 is your only other spot. Of course, I'm taking that without even thinking. I mean, okay, maybe I should think. Because the queen actually couldn't defend across. So, yeah, it was their only move. f4 might be more effective. f4 might be more effective. Yes. I mean, the most logical thing to do is just pull back and just win without sacrificing. But we've never really been logical. So let's go for this. All right. King takes. Do I want to throw in this check? Probably not. Right? So this is actually a good defensive resource. It's actually the one piece that's doing anything. Even though they've played pretty principally and tried to develop and arrange some ideas, we're now getting this rook involved. So takes here. Where are they going? Here. That's actually the best way to do it. Then f takes g3. No, I'm having doubts. That's the best way to do it. You take my knight. I take here. Am I guaranteed to mate on h2? Maybe. All right. Best way to do it, we've revised this, is... We've got so many compelling ideas. Let's go f takes here. Well, then I have 3, right? Knight of 3, or 3... Okay, we're doing this. We're going to go knight e3 check. And bishop takes h4. So we need to keep the queen out. Oh, was that really necessary? Okay, now they're just trying to flag me, which I think is kind of rude. Okay. I'm kidding, it's not rude. It's part of the game. Let's go. Alright, wait, we're going to have a look at this after. I think it was mate. I think I had him. I think they had to do what they did. Alright, I want rook g6 and just here. Rook g6, knight g5, just h6, right? So what else do you do? Something like that. Now I'm threatening to take. Other rook comes to f1. g6. Now you're running out of squares. Okay, come on. Fast. Let's go. Queen c2 is next. That's just instinct. I don't know. That's what I figured they wanted, right? I don't need to take that knight on e6. I gain nothing by doing it. I want e2, but they've worked g2, right? So I'll just take d5. Oh, queen c2 is probably more effective. No, I'll take d5. Oh. Surprising. Wait, I can do this with all checks. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. King check. Rook takes if king g1. Queen takes if king h2. We got him. We got him. We got him. Nice game. Nice game. Because that was a good opponent, and we actually... I think that was an excellent example of just how to orchestrate an attack out of just like a really normal middle game position. Right? I think this is like... Actually, maybe a pretty instructive game. Maybe I played terribly. Okay, I made 2 blunders, and you can see here when we were trading blunders, that was because of the knight g5 resource that we both kept missing, and I'll talk about that. But otherwise, if you exclude those 2 blunders, we played a great game. But we both went back and forth missing knight g5 until I saw it. All right, wait, let's talk about this. Thanks so much for requesting the French. No, the Dutch. Different countries, slightly. So, d4, e6. First of all, why did I start off with e6 when requested to play the Dutch? Because I'm not usually a Dutch player. But I know against f5, there's 2 good resources White has. One is just like the Staunton Gambit, which is e4, takes, knight c3, and there can be some dangerous things. I mean, you move your f-pawn first move of the game. There can be dangerous things along here, like bishop g5 is a good move, or f3 even. You know, you've opened this up. Obviously, there can be situations where, like, for example, I don't know, I'm making something up here, but you could get checkmated with, like, I didn't make this up right, but like queen g6 and then sacrificing here, bishop takes g6, checkmate, right, where you open this. Okay, so those things aside, it's better to dodge those resources by just playing e6 on the very first move. f5 also, I think the very best way, other than this interesting gambit, the very best move is knight c3. And here, like, would be very frustrating to deal with something like e4, which gives white excellent space and excellent opportunities to take advantage of holes black may have created on the king side. So like knight c3 and then bishop g5, and now you're really pressing black and making it a little uncomfortable because e6 now opens up this pin, for example, and black should probably have this patched up a little bit better than they do right now. So like those resources can be dangerous for white to just play for a quick e4, which is probably my recommendation for how to play against the Dutch in general. So that for that reason, I recommend e6, where you're kind of keeping your opponent guessing. White could play e4 here, and you will have to play French. However, most d4 players probably don't want to just play mainline Frenches. And you can learn a little bit there, and they'd probably know 0. So you are risking that, but otherwise white needs to do something and kind of give away their hand a little bit, like c4, which isn't like the most useful move now against f5. Like you saw, I was fighting for control of the e4 square. This is our game. Like now after e6, I've played f5. e6 is a move we're going to have to play anyway, and now we're able to fight for this square. And for example, what I was talking about with like stone walls, so like let's say they just kind of go here, they just kind of go here, they just kind of go here, right? We're able to transpose at any moment to play like d5 and c6. Now we have a stone wall structure, which we can throw at them, which is also like a fun one to play. It's very simple. Like we want to grab that square, we're playing bishop d6, we're going to try to like expand on the king side and such and get them on h2. Like here, I'll make a few moves. So for example, I bring my bishop out. This is white being like a little oblivious and not really doing too much, but okay, like g5, g4 can be a fun idea. Probably better to stop them from hopping into the weak spot of the stone wall. But now after something like queen to h4, okay, this is already extremely strong. We've cleared the way for this to happen with, you know, strong knight, strong bishop, strong queen, and threats on h2, potential sacrifices on g3 as well. This is like a little rushed, and obviously your bishop is going to be bad. Light square bishop is going to be bad in the stone wall because you've blocked this out. But it's still like a resource that you can throw at them at any moment. And again, we're kind of making useful moves regardless here and seeing how white responds. White responds with g3, and so I opt not to do a stone wall. Because if I do kind of the same idea, and put my bishop on d6, suddenly none of the pieces are as effective as they were. This bishop is not hitting h2, and so it's like really not streaking down in an annoying way the way it was. And also, they're more able to kind of use this f-pawn at some moment. So, also, one more resource they have is bishop f4, which is trading off for my good bishop. Gives them excellent control over the e5 square. Big hole in my position. Now I am down the dark square bishop, which is going to be very good with the light square pawns, and stuck with this guy, they're able to now play knight e5, f3 if necessary to kick my knight out of here, and then even like e4 at some moment. So this is kind of a good anti-stonewall setup, but I never come into my d-pawn, so I swap after g3 to just use this diagonal instead for my bishop, and I challenge them in time. In time meaning, like, if I had played something like this instead, then they are hitting my rook, right? Every time you start a fianchetto, you create a moment of weakness. You better make sure you fill that up, because this is really annoying. You have to play, like, or I probably have to play into a stonewall now or something, right? But now I've played this b6 move, which isn't consistent with a strong pawn chain. So, in the game, bishop b7 played, so we're challenging each other's bishops, and this is what I mean by, like, trying to start an attack kind of from nothing, right? I mean, we're just in a very normal position. Like, what do we do? I get this question all the time. It's like, okay, I get out of the opening, I get to a middle game position, and I'm not really sure, like, what to do next. Very simple things that I did here was I was just kind of looking at my worst piece. So my worst piece was this knight. Where do I want to put it? Well, not c6 in the way of this bishop. I wanted to put it on d7, and which made a lot of sense because I knew my opponent's idea with a3, which is kind of a dead giveaway, was b4, and maybe trying to play c5, which is a logical idea, right? My opponent needs some idea as well. What you're looking for, in general, once you bring, like, your bishops and knights out, is a pawn break, right? Some sort of way to trade off pawns, and thus, when you trade pawns, you open files for your rooks. So you're going to want to do that where, like, my opponent's not going to, like, want to trade, like, this pawn for this pawn or something, right? By playing g4, that would make their king very weak and help my rook. But you're going to want to do it in situations where your pieces are supporting that, and it can create weaknesses for your opponent. For me, that pawn break probably looks something like playing f4 at some moment, right? Right now, I really like this e4 square, and I want to put my knight there, and want to put my other knight to, like, really control that spot. But f4 at some moment can really weaken my opponent's kingside, and you saw I got that in the game. So I played d6 here, which is kind of oblivious, because more important than any strategic considerations are immediate tactical considerations, and what you should always be aware of, which I was not at the time, is anything unprotected. So, like, literally anything that's not protected by something else. So, like, right now that's this bishop. Literally, it is not, like, this pawn, for example, is protected. This knight, for example, is protected. For my opponent, you can identify immediately, like, c4, right? And maybe there's, like, queen d4 check at some moment that would get that, right? But tactics come from unprotected pieces. And right now, after d6, immediately I have now two unprotected things, and white can win as a result with this move, knight to g5. Knight to g5 is really brutal because, yeah, this bishop is unprotected, so I can't just, like, guard here. Queen c8, they can distract me. And then they would just take on e6. And the issue is I take g2, take e6, has a tempo on my queen, forking here, and I'm losing material once they recapture there. So I was oblivious to that. Thankfully, they were as well, but, you know, just being aware of these resources, I don't know, will get you wins over FMs, because knight g5 was a winning move here that I totally missed. So b4, and a3 wasn't a useful... Moving on. b4 wasn't a... a3 wasn't a useful move, because then I played d6, right? So the bishop was eyeing b4, and I was able to get them to burn a tempo. So that's why I also felt good about this move, d6, right? I got them to burn tempo with a3, then I closed my bishop, so they're playing b4 anyway. Now I play knight d7. Again, we're trading blunders back and forth here according to the engine, because knight g5 ends the game, right? My bishop is hit, e6 is hit. I cannot deal with both of these things at once. Take g2, take e6. My queen is hit, queen moves, they recapture here. At minimum, if not taking this rook, I've lost a pawn and probably worse. So that didn't happen, though. Bishop b2, and now is where I'm like, wait, so my opponent's doing, like, logical things, a3, b4, bishop b2, right? They're activating stuff into the game. They're looking for c5 breaks. Now I'm like, wait, knight g5 is an issue. Thank God that I was able to get away with d6, knight d7. Probably what I should have done to prepare this is something like queen c8. Queen c8, which can help me play c5 and defend this bishop so I don't have to deal with this pin. Knight g5, then, okay, I already have these things covered, so it wouldn't be an issue. Okay, we're hopping in e4, and here my opponent's ideas start to make a little less sense. Rook e1, not sure what my opponent's rook is doing there. I can't imagine this pawn ever trading, right? Rooks stuck behind pawns suck. The rooks get a raw deal at the start of the game. There's 8 pawns blocking all 8 files, so that's why we need to trade one of them or something to open these things up. This pawn I can't imagine ever pushing forward and trading. I have an iron grip over the e4 square, as I continue to do with simple moves. So my last few moves were just d6, knight e4, knight d to f6. Okay, so knight d to f6 here. We are eyeing e4. My opponent continues to just kind of like move all their pieces. I guess you can't really go wrong with that. Rook c1, can't go wrong with that idea. And they're looking at c5. But I do have c5 pretty well under control, right? And so it allows me to play something like queen e8 here. Very logical move. We are continuing to prove all our pieces. We've played f5, and we're actually using that little door we've opened with f5 to potentially jump this way, right? Like you saw, I was calculating something like knight g4, looking at anything I can attack, right? Because nothing really is unprotected in my opponent's position. So here, the idea is f takes e4. I would actually win this f2 point. It would actually force their rook right back to f1, but I would want something like queen h5 to follow up with knight g4, pressuring h2. And so with the tactics not really working right now, just queen e8 is a simple move that's helping my position. My opponent plays knight b5, which is a pretty bothersome move. Dealing with c7 is annoying. Rook c8 is actually not a great move because knight takes a7 is very annoying. Rook needs to move again somewhere, and then knight b5 just comes right back. And so we have the same position, except I've lost a pawn and still have to deal with c7. I didn't want to go back with my queen, and I realized here that my bishop, which is kind of doing nothing, actually has an excellent use. Well, it's sort of stopping c5, but now it doesn't need to, because my queen, where she is in the middle of her transition towards the king side, is stopping c5, right? c5, the knight is hanging, so that works out pretty well for me. And here my opponents blundered with knight to d2 because they blundered an excellent tactic. A tactic that was in place because of my pieces now being in excellent positions, right? I've played some pretty simple moves like d6, just improving my pieces here. Everybody's doing something. Okay, this bishop is now the worst piece on the board. My next idea is we're going to be like queen h5, f4, trading that off, bringing both the rooks into the game, and continuing to look towards the king side for attacking ideas, right? Once your position is good and you like have a great grip over like a great central square like that, I'm looking towards your king, right? Like, what do I want to do with my dominant position? I want to use those extra resources to get to your king. So bishop to d8 here. A better idea for my opponent probably would have been something trying to prepare c5 or d5 here. I'm not really sure. Yeah, knight c3 just coming back is kind of maybe what you got to do because c5 is impossible with my queen here. It's not a total failure because my bishop was routed kind of the wrong way, but now c5 can happen and it can open up the bishop. With like d takes c5, it can open up the rook, the queen, cause some annoyance for me where I'm trying to keep everything closed and just focus on the king side. So you need to have some sort of counterplay. You can't just like be piling up defenses here. Knight d2, I get it. Like you're trying to make a lot of trades here. I can't even play that move actually because my bishop is hanging, but it doesn't actually have a threat. Knight takes and I would recapture back. So even if I played something simple like queen h5, trying to support like knight g4, f4, I think this is still pretty nice for me. Although I do understand like this knight is doing a lot of things. It's threatening towards their king and it's also stopping c5 idea. But fortunately for me, I had a great tactic in this position, and it is really because they played this not good move, rook e1. They played this not good move, rook e1, and it weakened f2 and presented tactical ideas. Like, even this can be a strong tactical motif at some moment, because I would attack h2 and f2 at the same time. Fortunately, I had it right now, and while I missed their tactic, I saw one for myself, which is knight takes f2 right here. Unfortunately, Elite Chess does not do brilliant moves, but I feel like I would have got one with this. We hit the queen, so any bishop takes b7 stuff is off the table. I'm very aware that I have an unprotected bishop on that end. Any queen move right now, there's no checks, there's no openings onto my king, so I'm able to just kind of like make this trade, come out with queen h5, knight g4, f4, right? It's not just a pawn, right? It's a pretty important defender of your king, and you can see white is lacking pieces in that general vicinity right now. King takes f2 played. And yeah, it's minus 4.1 here, and you can see it's getting worse. So knight g4 check. There's nowhere for the king to go. This is literally the only other legal move, and it's immediately a fork. They're fortunate this pawn is not on c2, because that actually could have straight up trapped the queen. Yeah, rook e1 was not a great move. So king g1, bishop takes g2, queen b3 played, which I think is pretty reasonable. This was actually a nice defensive resource, and potentially set up c5, where like now this is hanging, the rook could be open, the queen could be pointing at my king, and yeah, they're guarding the e3 square. So my bishop is hanging once more. But, oops, I have queen h5 right now, which is a great resource because this knight can't get to f1 or f3 without being captured by my bishop to guard h2, so no pieces can come there. King to h2, I would just checkmate you immediately. So that works out well. There's no h3. My bishop is there instead of your bishop. It's pretty funny. So h4 played, and I have to be careful. I have to be careful because, as I mentioned, I was going to play this move without thinking, but I'm only up one pawn, and you can go down two bishops pretty quickly without necessarily a follow-up. And then rook h1 comes. So, you know, you need to be very careful. This pawn is really actually in the way of my rook. And so it makes much more sense than bishop takes h4 here. I think, yeah, bishop takes h4, I would have... Oh, no, okay. It's actually still winning my piece. Like, you have this many pieces here. It'll work out. But you do have to be pretty careful. Like, this, for example, didn't work. Even then, down two pieces, that's still a draw. But, okay. things worked out there. But you do have to be precise, was the point I was going for. So f4 was a nice move, and we've crawled up to minus 6.4. Really, it just makes a lot of sense. Like, it doesn't have to be calculated too much, because we're targeting that point, which is just really the only guy between me and checkmate, just grabbing h4, and we're also opening up the rook here, so you've got to figure these things are working out. My opponent does what any smart defender should do, which is, if you don't see that you're losing immediately after taking material, take that material. Like, if your opponent offers you something and you're in a losing position, take it, is my advice. Because then you're defending for something. You actually have a win condition. If this stuff fizzles out, then, you know, you could just be up a piece. Like, if you're able to trade queens or something, you have an opportunity to give back the material. You should be defending for something. So, unless you're losing immediately by taking material, take the material. It's always actually better to, this is even coming from me, better to attack without being down material than attack being down material, right? So, if you have that option to not sacrifice, it is actually better, but, you know, it's absolutely worth it to sacrifice to attack still, if that all makes sense. So, it is actually better to not be down material sometimes, I will even say. Knight to e3 check was, I think, an important resource here, because if I just play f takes g3, I was thinking here knight to f3 actually kind of is a very annoying move. Suddenly I don't have rook f2, I don't have knight e3, and I don't have queen takes here, and this rook can come to h1, and things can go south a little bit. So this move, knight e3, blocking the queen, is, I think, quite important, and they played queen takes e3, which is the only move, yeah. So their only other option was to step back king g1, and this is what I was going to play, bishop takes h4. Using the bishop, now we're really using all our pieces here. With the queen being blocked, there is no good resource for them. I'm hopping right in there. Otherwise, okay, knight f3 now is not nearly as intimidating. The rook can't come to h1, and my queen, while she can't get into h2, can probably get into g2. So then knight on e3 sits excellently. Okay, and then otherwise pawn takes f4. It's, yeah, just checkmate. So, yeah, knight e3, good resource here. So we do have to be precise, and my opponent just sacrifices their queen, which makes sense, especially given the time situation. I've spent actually a lot of time here, down 2.5 minutes to 23 seconds, but we were able to work things out. So we kick the knight out. That was bothering me. Okay, we're just moving around here. We make this trade. I was looking at rook g6, just trying to checkmate. We bring in all our pieces. Again, rook g6, trying to checkmate. So queen e4. Now we're just like, okay, you bundled up around here. You guarded everything with rook takes f3, rook takes g3. Good for you, but I actually have a queen. She's going to come into c2. She's going to attack unprotected things. Unprotected things is actually, like, especially blitzing out, it's a good thing to look at, right? I was like, oh, look at all that. Let me come into c2. What a juicy spot, given all the things she can take. Okay, d5, just immediately shut that down with e5, grab that, just king away, and then, okay, we were able to take these things and checkmate. So this is, I think, I get this question a lot, like, what do I do when I get into, like, a normal middle game position? Like, you know, there's no tactics, the kings are same side castles, everything's safe. My advice is to just keep improving your pieces, right? We played d6, we brought our knights in, ignore those blunders. We missed knight g5, but we brought the knight around, we brought the queen around, and when the time came, we neutralized our opponent's counterplay with c5. When the time came, we found this tactic, but even then, I think I was building towards a nice aggressive position, and, you know, I had all these pieces in the vicinity, boom, 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 right, to get their king. So, yeah, potentially easier said than done, but I hope to see you guys do it. Subscribe if that goes on YouTube. I think this was actually a really nice game, other than knight g5 stuff. Appreciate y'all. Okay, what's up? That was it. Fun first game of the stream. Okay, I've got a lot of requests. My first request that I saw was for the Papiel Gambit. So, what's up, everyone? Let's do that. Let's do that. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Gambit glasses on, baby. Yes, 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 yes. We love this. We love this. So my opponent played e6 here, which is interesting because they're actually immediately giving this pawn back because they invited the spin. This would transpose to a very common position in the French. I can talk about that after. And it would be the engine's recommendation. But I already have the Gambit glasses on, and we gotta stay Gambity. Any plans for Black Mardemer? Great question. The answer is no, that this is better than the Black Mardemer. It's slightly different, and I will explain why. I will explain why, and it all has to do with this bishop. I have two good ideas here. One of them is to castle long, and to castle on the opposite side of my opponent. And I think that actually is the engine's slight preference. The rooks come to very nice squares, and there are a lot of nice attacking possibilities. This is all a lot of stuff that I am very happy to explain after the game. But, okay, interesting. Knight d5 is actually a very interesting move here. We have a lot to get to. What I would want, if my queen were already here, I would have this nice move, queen h4, threatening mate. But he beat me to the punch a little bit. And actually, we have an interesting decision here. If I play takes, there is takes. And then, well, that's going to end badly for them. So they should go e takes d5. But then I open this, right? Queen d2 is an option. Not my top option. Alright, what we're going to do is something quite simple then. Which is trading this. Kind of feel bad about doing it, but I wanted to come back to d2. Knight takes was not what I was calculating. Oh. Are they asking for it? I think they really are. I think they just said, please, William, great gift me. That's what I'm hearing. Takes... Well, king g8, queen h5 wins. Like, resigns. So they have to play king g6, or king h6. It's a little tricky without the dark square bishop on the board in that position. Because their next move is f5. Thing is, I would do it in an instant if I wasn't giving up a great position. Like, it's like my alternative is, you know, quite good. But I think I have to, right? Like, I have the Gambit glasses on and everything. I mean, they're really daring me. Why would they say, please, William, do this? Why would they say? Okay, fine. Fine, fine, fine. You got me. I will take your bait. I will take your bait. You literally brought that knight to the square that says, please, Greek, gift me. So king has to come to g6, or else you can resign. And here I had a few ideas. So queen g4 was kind of the most obvious. There's e5. And then I think... Okay. Think about e5 in that position. Oh, I have an 86 check. That's actually quite nice. So queen g4, we're still eyeing this, which is check annoyingly, because I don't have this. But not having that is a blessing, because I have this open. f5 I was expecting. No, I have an 86. I think they missed this. An 86 and they lose. Wait, an 86 is a crazy move. It's a crazy move, because it's discovered check. They hit the base of the discovery, which is generally a good idea. But 96 blocks the bishop. And forget about this queen. My next move is queen takes g7, checkmate. King h7. If they went here, I just need to make a quick stop on the way. And we got him. We got him with the Greek gift. Oh my goodness. These games are going great. These games are going great. Let's go. They needed f5, I think, in this position. f5, which hits the queen a little bit more directly. This is worth analyzing. I would step back queen g3. And then it's probably still very tough for them. I'm really not sure. Well, they have actually check in queen g4. Let's have a look here. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. 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 First, I want to analyze the Greek gift in this game. And then I'm going to get back to the discussions of this opening and why I played it this way. So we're going to skip ahead. And then I'm going to go behind because I'm just too interested in analyzing this, just the very end. So let's analyze the end of this first because I want to. Okay, it is plus 3.3 in this position, and that is because overwhelmingly a bishop takes h7 check. That is because bishop. Why is von Papiel better than Blackmore Deemer? Great question, and yes, I will get to that, which is a very interesting point. Also interesting is bishop takes h7 check here. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So we gave that bishop, right? King takes, knight g5. All right. So if you come back just king g8, then queen h5, and this is unstoppable. The knight needs to be on f6. The knight needs to be on f6. The standard defender of a castled king, it would keep the queen out of h5 and would guard h7, right? Like my rook could take it, which is I think why they ran away. But here we got him. Like there's queen h7, bishop coming to f5 is another resource that can actually really stop the Greek gift in its tracks. Not a resource for them here, and they would lose is like, okay, I mean, I also have the rook in the game, so like this is mate. Typically, like you even have like this idea, boom, 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 boom. Oh, anyway, all checkmate here. Not an option for them to step back, but they can step up. So king g6 was a good move. I think king h6, like I have queen d2, but also like f7 is hanging. And then again, you need to defend for something. You need to defend for something. And here, it's already a situation where I have a rook and a pawn for a bishop and knight. Like, even if they got, like, the queens off in this position, it's actually still bad. They have no development and everything. So my risk here is low, and I'm also playing queen g4 and checkmating you. So king h6 is not even worth considering, I think, just because of knight takes f7. Even if queen d2 is probably maybe a better, or queen g4 is an even better move than that. But just even the fact knight takes f7 exists, and white cannot possibly be worse. So king g6 played, you know, trying to hang on to as much as you can. And again, this is why I was saying, like, the bishop here would be nice to defend this knight. I don't have it. That's okay. Because we come out queen g4, which is actually a blunder. Interesting. Oh, the move here. This is good. And it's rare that their pieces are so bad that this is possible. But it's knight takes f7. Because it's actually very similar to what we were just discussing. I have here queen g4 check. They have no control over either of these squares. They can't block and they can't keep my queen out here. The king has to step this way. King h7 probably check and then take it in style. Take it in style. King h6 and just take here. Yeah, we're just killing him. We are just killing him. So knight takes f7 was the key resource. I missed it tragically and played here queen g4. So how do you defend if you're black? My opponent played e5, which actually looks like a really good move because you hit my queen and you're thinking like any square she goes to, like here, trying to sneak in there. There's actually queen takes d4 check. You've defended here and you've traded the queens. And trading the queens means there's no more attack and you're up a piece in the endgame. Alas, I have this brilliant move, knight e6. Check, block this. Which is actually so nice. King h6, as I was saying, is the only other move. I just need to stop at g5 to force them into checkmate territory. So their defensive resource that was best here was probably f5. Yes. Oh, wow, you can really look at that. So f5 equals every other move. Second best move is plus 6.2. So talk about giving your opponent high move value, high margin for error, which is what we love to do. That means the distance between the best move and the second best move, right? Low margin for error is what I meant to say. That's what we want to do because they will make mistakes. We want their mistakes to be consequential. f5 here hits the queen directly. And so now, like what I was saying, so queen g3, which would be a really nice resource because there's nowhere good for this king to step to, right? King f6, I can actually force you right back into this brutal line of fire, owing to this pin on the pawn. This is your only square, and then I would eat your queen with the discovery. And obviously you don't want to go here. I think I just go check, and then I can even come back there, maybe, potentially. So that's not what you want to do. So this is a brutal line of fire. I think the resource black has here is the fact that this is check, which is really annoying. Otherwise, I would just kind of like win your queen if I didn't have to move my king. But now the queen comes to g4. Or no, it wouldn't come to g4, yeah? What is... It would come to g4. That is the only way out. You have to see this. It's your only way. Yeah, it's your only way. Here, you have to be willing to give the rook. I don't know, queen's off or queen's off. So the king is not really going to get touched here. Everything stays defended. And they get away with this in an interesting position. They have a bishop and knight and pawn for the rook. Really lacking development, but they're not going to lose anything immediately. Like, my best option is to go knight here, which is kind of annoying. And so it's probably a situation where, okay, like I get this pawn as a result of that pin on the bishop. That's probably the most I can get for them being undeveloped because the queens are off the board, and so it's hard to get the king with the queens off the board. It's a huge difference. With queens on, king safety is most important. With queens off, passed pawns are most important, right? In an endgame. Okay, interesting line here. They had to see that, which makes me feel good about my attack and even my blunder of missing knight takes f7, which is a quite nice one with queen g4 to follow. Let's talk about the opening. Let's talk about the opening, the von Papiel Gambit. First of all, this position can come out of... First of all, even before first of all, zeroth of all, if you want to play e4, d5, whenever you face a Scandinavian, you can just transpose back into this against any Scandies, which is what I do. So if you are an e4 player and you don't want to give that up, that's fine. You'll get this against Scandies. If you don't even like your white repertoire that much and just want to play this opening every single time as white, pretty much, you can by just playing d4 and you're going to get this position one way or another, right? They can play knight f6 or d5 typically. You play knight c3, again threatening e4. Unless they're like a true King's Indian player, then they'll do it even if you don't play c4, which has certain drawbacks, certainly. Really, that's a Pirk and not a King's Indian. They should play d5 here, and now you play e4, and I cover knight takes e4 on my channel, which is a sideline, but otherwise, after d takes e4, you are transposing to this position. Here, 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 and here, which will probably happen the vast majority of your white games if you want it to, after d4. So, this position, why do I recommend playing bishop to g5 before playing f3? Great question, because if we look at the database, even after the popularity of my Von Papiel stuff, f3 is actually way more common than bishop g5, even though the gap is closing a little bit. f3 is just very simple gambit to play. After pawn takes f3, knight takes f3, what our idea is going to be, and what we want to happen, is if our opponent's just like la, di-da, 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 ba-ba-ba, let me move this, let me move this. What just happened here is they kind of got absolutely screwed because we took this diagonal. We jumped in bishop to d3. They played e6, cutting off their bishop, and we used all of our resources here because we didn't have this f2 pawn, so we made this sly maneuver to queen h4, which is a great maneuver to make because our queen wants to be here, but can't because of this knight that typically defends the king. This knight is now going to be under a lot of duress. As soon as the queen jumped to h4, it cannot move at all because any knight move is immediately checkmate, right? So even though like it looks like a fun idea to attack the queen, any knight move is immediately checkmate because we own this diagonal. Now, this is a very serious situation for black because if they just do something else, we take that knight and checkmate them. So what do you do about that? If you play h6, we take that pawn. We are very happy to make that trade of our bishop for your two most important pawns. Again, knight is completely frozen because of checkmate, and the rook will swing around and end the game in a moment. Or like the knight will on bishop h7 or something like this. So they cannot play h6. Let's say they play something like knight d7, which is a logical idea. It's playing knight d7 so that knight can replace and defend. All we need to do is play knight to e5, which we could have done actually instead of bishop to g5. We could have played knight to e5 because the rook, also owing to the lack of the f2 pawn, is there. Knight d7, but we play knight e5. And the point is now that we are getting rid of the knights in our way. That's actually an overwhelming amount of resources to get rid of those knights and take h7. And at this point, your only idea, if you're black, to hang on to h7 is, because h6 isn't working either, because you'll get mated, is to play something like g6. And even if there's not something immediate and you're just kind of swinging your rooks into the game, that's also great. That you can also checkmate there. Here, white's actually winning immediately with knight takes d7. Knight cannot recapture because that will be lost, and queen takes. Okay, that is very lost. So this works out really beautifully. Alas, this is what most Black Mardeemer players want, but the most common move in this position is the best move, which is, well, bishop to g4 is okay. Wow, I thought bishop g4 is okay, and it does get the bishop out here where it can be a fighter. The best move here is bishop f5. Bishop f5, and suddenly we don't get this diagonal, and we needed that diagonal, right? If we didn't take it, then what is our queen doing here? Nothing. There's no threats, nothing, and just, like, this is annoying. Like, now you have no choice but to leave, right? So, that sucks. Otherwise, like, what most people do is they just propose this trade, but again, with that trade, even if they're, like, walking right into what you want, there's no threat on h7. It all started with the fact that we took this diagonal first. So, the issue is, like, immediately after trading, they can just play bishop f5 and take that diagonal. That is the big issue. That is the big issue. What can we do to make sure that bishop f5 and pawn takes f3 are bad moves? This is kind of what I was thinking about when I was looking at this gambit and developing this theory. What if he hits Von Papiel with a knight instead of a pawn? Great question. I'll get to that. So, we play bishop to g5 right now. Bishop to g5. Why is this a very nice move? In the game, my opponent plays e6, right? In the game, my opponent plays e6. And I know they are immediately blocking this bishop, so any move, e6 or knight d7, now I'm happy to play f3 and go back to knight takes f3. They blocked this bishop in, and so we got this nice attack, right? Boom, 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 la-di-da-di-da. Here, I'm going to get that knight, and I am going to checkmate you. Very simple. And this comes out, actually, out of a number of my gambits. If they don't block that, if they do something smart, like not blocking this bishop, then, okay, we need to reevaluate, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Okay, what if they just play bishop f5 right now? Right? What's the difference? Here, takes, knight takes f3, looks like the same position. The point is that we've delayed playing f3, and if you play bishop to f5 right now, as most people do, because it also looks like I'm threatening to take here and take your pawn, even though I'm absolutely not threatening to do that, I would never do that. You know, why would I sacrifice the pawn in the first place when I'm just going to, like, help you develop and castle? But, so a lot of people play bishop f5, giving defense here. Now we play f3, and the point is we are playing queen takes f3. Queen takes f3. Suddenly with bishop f5, you've actually made this and this unprotected, which our queen takes excellent advantage of. We are ready to castle very quickly. I'll show you, like, for example, the most common moves here. Most common move is actually bishop c8, which is not a good one. It's actually even worse, though, if you let me take this. It's not just like me fishing for a pawn. It would be if, like, you were castled and ready to bring your rooks here and counterattack me. You are not ready for that. Instead, what's going to happen to you is I am just going to take this or something. You can't take with the knight because you will lose your queen. You can't take with the queen because you will lose your rook, so you have to take with the king, and then you will lose your king once I jump in here. So, it looks pretty bad for you. This, check, right? Sucks. You can't take back with that ever. So, it's not just a pawn. It's pretty brutal. In conclusion, you must play something like bishop to c8. Oh, I cover better ideas in the actual original video. But now here after castles, right? Now, okay, you're like trying to develop e6, but you've wasted a couple moves here, and so, you know, this can just be really brutal after d5 just tears open the middle of the board, and black can lose very, very quickly here. Like you can imagine here, knight takes d5, okay, pins everywhere, and lots of fun stuff. So the point is, of bishop to g5, that we are trying to force you to play something like knight d7 or e6, and now we are going to go back to knight takes f3 once you've blocked this bishop, and then grab that diagonal. Else, you play bishop to f5, you are walking right into queen takes f3 territory. And I cover all these lines in the original Von Papiel video on my channel. Yeah, so full breakdown of how to play that. Black does have some good options here, like knight d7, which is an interesting idea, trying to not take the pawn. It's a rare one. We are going to force them to take the pawn, spoiler alert. So that is, like, also fun stuff. But yeah, there's really no easy way out, and so it is a much improved version of the Black Mar Deemer. Subscribe if that goes on YouTube. Wow, we've played 2 very fun games. I see I'm 46.5 minutes into this stream, and I've played 2 games. But both have been such instructive games. Okay, wait, what requests did we get? What requests did we get? Let's play e5. I probably should have berserked there. What requests did I get? I'll play here knight c6. I saw someone request a Russo. So if bishop c4, I'm playing f5. Oh, okay, nice. All right. What's up, what's up? E takes f5 is not a good move, and this violates William's golden rule of, in king's pawns, don't take the f-pawn. Just defend it. They always want you to take it. Just don't. Now, this knight is nowhere good to go. Shout out to Jonathan Schrantz for popularizing the Russo Gambit. But this knight is nowhere to go. Here, here, here. These squares are all covered by these guys. And you will have to go back, and then I play here, and now this is beautiful. I've just kicked away all your pieces and taken a great center, and it's not even a gambit. Can you play queen to h5 check? Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. Okay. Well, that worked out pretty nicely. Inexplicable that knight d7 should be rare. Yeah, I've faced it a lot. I've faced it a lot. I'd say it's more common at higher levels. I'd say it's rare at lower levels because it's not obvious. It's not an obvious pattern. People aren't aware of queen takes f3 even being a thing in the first place. Like, it's not a thing. It doesn't come out of... Okay, either parry here is quite effective. Go bishop g6. Modern Scandi. What is that, if I may? Tell me the moves. So I play something like knight d4, which hits c2, so that is my instinct. It's hard to defend. Your only move is queen c3. Alas, it is a move. Knight d4, queen c3. Can I make you lose? Queen f6. Compelling. Okay. Just go here. I thought they, like, I don't know. Are they going to do it? Doesn't do anything. I don't know. Is it annoying? I might have to straight queens. Might be annoying. Okay. Might have to go here. It's fine. It's kind of, like, I did want to castle this way. So, you know, there's been worse spots for queens. Certainly. Maybe this wasn't the best. What's up, Shadow Real? Is this the Russo Gambit? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh, I should have put these on. Keep commenting what lines you would like to see. And if you are subscribed, I will play them. Okay, my king can really only go this way right now. It's not a bad spot for the queen. Not a bad spot. Anywhere she can't be attacked is never a bad spot. Anywhere she can't be attacked is never a bad spot. I did say that correctly, yes. Want this. Four. This is annoying, I do think. Because I'm hitting this and this. I'm sure I had like better ways to take advantage of my rapid development here and like really punish them. It's just I didn't see them. Modern Scandi, e4, d5 takes knight f6, sure. But even without seeing queen f3, it doesn't make sense to help white develop when the e4 pawn can be protected with pieces. True. I think it's obvious to us, to you and I at this point, because we've seen, like, because we have that idea a lot of e takes f3. To the less initiated, it's not super obvious. Like f3, you can take it. And you're looking at knight takes f3, and maybe you even know that this is the best counter to the Black Mardimer of then transposing to that position, right? It's just like queen takes f3 just doesn't occur to you. So you're like cf3, and you're like taking it looks fine. I'll do it. But yeah, knight d7 is a good move. But g4 queen e2 is a nice counter, and it makes sense that, like, you know, we're playing for long castles as we should, given so I decide how to take this pawn. Let's go with bishop. Okay, they get this nice move with tempo. Where am I going? Maybe here actually seems compelling. Did I interrupt my own thought? I don't even remember. Seems compelling because then they're gonna trade. Oh, I should edit my stream widget to say onlychess.org, right? I just realized that I didn't do that. Okay, knight e4. We actually took away bishop f4, which is a nice developing move. And now we're really hopping forward. Just trying to make things happen. We're really hopping forward. Trying to make things happen. G3. Would love to see a Goring. You got it. Don't have to ask me twice. You want to see how I play the Alien Gambit? Alright, alright. Leela Tate Alakine Rook Sack. I assume you're referring to this idea of a4 rook a3, but you will have to type the moves for me because I don't really know what this is. A lot of logical options here. One of them, maybe. One of them is probably just like bring in all my pieces, right? Like when in any doubt ever, just activate the pieces will never be bad. It'll never be bad. Just here and here. Queen is defending a lot of things I want to attack. I don't have rook h6, which is annoying. This. That's why I was looking at bishop g5. Okay, it seems a little artificial. I get hit anyway. It feels a little loose then. Forcing the knight to a3 was fun, because then I can never be kicked out. Not too obvious what to do, because bishop d4 gives me rook h6. And then, in fact, they can resign in that position. So they just go here, which just offers me a free piece. Well, free material. What do I play d4? Forces like bishop c1. Yikes. Okay, a lot of good options. Rook f8, there's take, and then I would eat f2. Let's just eat this. This is actually like not a bad practical choice. Actually was not. I mean, I feel like. Okay, I don't want to not give them credit. Check I have here, right? It's kind of what I got to do. This is interesting. It actually might well be worth it. Let me do this. A little dangerous. Like, obviously I can trade and just win the endgame. But I was kind of doubting how you defend this. F3, I keep the bishop on the board, right? Are we going to have a sexy checkmate? I really hope so. No, the checkmate will not be sexy, but it will be existent. I will just go knight g4 and queen takes h2. Existent is more important than sexy when we're talking about checkmates. Sexy is the second most important thing, but existent is the first most. Check. Here. Back to g1. You know what I should do? I should go knight h3, and then here, and then I should go bishop g1, and they'll take it, and knight f2. Here, let me just demonstrate it. So, just for fun. Bishop g1, fun meme. But wait, no, is it actually a good move? No, this is so stupid. Why would I do this? No, they have queen takes h3. Oh my goodness, I didn't even see it. Okay, wait. Oh my god. I should have just mated them normally. Okay. Just mixing around. This is almost working. Because it threatened this, right? I should have... Okay, but the best thing to do is obviously check here, and knight g4. Okay, they have no block, and then this was mate. But you can't. It needs to be a queen, guys. It needs to be a queen to actually force rook takes, and the the holy grail of checkmates. But we almost got him. Yeah, cheeky flag. Okay, cheeky is even a nice word. All right, tournament pairings are now closed. We got in 3 whole games in that hour, even though we didn't even late join. 3 whole games in a Blitz arena in an hour. Good work, Will. All right. So we're getting some requests here for openings. We will play them in the next arena. We'll play them in the next arena. Let's join. Starting in 3 minutes. All right, unfortunately, we did not... Okay, while we're here, let me edit the stream. You guys will get a little behind-the-scenes peek. Behind-the-scenes peek at this. Gambit Man on leechess.org. Okay, and then let me go to my Twitch to edit this. Okay. Yeah, if you guys want the computer-sized... Oh, by the way, I'll take this opportunity to... Streamer battle. Streamer battle. Play. There's a streamer battle. We are Team Gambit Chads. We've got 17 people here, but the more the merrier. In fact, they count the top 20 scores, so we need more of y'all. We need more of y'all. Go to my Leechess profile. Oh, I need to sign into chat. Wait, let me just go here. Let me just drop the link for y'all. But play, it's tomorrow, and we need you on Team Gambit Chads. So, let me drop the link right here. Boom, boom, boom. So you go here. Where is Gambit chats? My teams. Boom, boom, boom. We've got the next arena starting momentarily. Wait. So you join Gambit chat's teams. We have a streamer battle. We need to defeat all the Stockfish simps. We need to defeat all these other streamers. So we've got 284 streamers. Wow. That is a lot. That is a lot. Let's go. We've got a strong team here. Thank you to all of you who've joined. Play with me tomorrow to battle. Play. We're going to get them with all our Gambits. They all play like normal stuff, main lines. Boo. Let's go, guys. It starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time in New York. It has the info there, so it'll be in your time zone. And it is 2 hours long. And 3 plus 2.
10, 9,
Oh, 284
8,
players, 11
7,
streamers. Oh.
6, 5,
Yeah, I was like...
4, 3,
Well, I wasn't going to say,
2,
are there 284 chess
1,
streamers? I'm sure there
0.
are. But it seems like a lot. That makes a lot more sense. Appreciate you all. Mr. GW Bland. Oh, also, I have a mini feed here. Cupart's channel with the subscription. Shadow Reel with the follow. On Point subscribing. Daniel Garrett subscribing. Beeper following. Chess with Pebbles following. Appreciate all you guys. Scorpio 2022. Do you think that indicates this person's star sign and year of birth? Or their favorite Mortal Kombat character and year of birth? Seems unlikely on both cases. Okay, I was going to go with a dummy gambit, but we had a request here for something with Rook A3. So we're going after this knight, and I know this is a line. With Rook A3, and then even after E6, just giving the rook. Yes. Okay. And my opponent hesitated, so they actually probably don't know this unless they're playing me. Just giving the rook. So I know the idea of Rook A3 should be to like swing this across. I've seen the late, great Emery Tate play this, actually. But we're just going to give the rook. Let's go. Thank you to whoever recommended I play this on Viewer Says What I Play Arena. All right. All right. Maybe pawn takes A3 made more sense there, but we got the Gambit glasses on. They don't have their dark square bishop. Let me just immediately take advantage of that. I think knight A6 was a little short-sighted, actually. I think this might have been an immediate blunder. Okay, well, they had king f8. That's actually their only move. All right. Wait, but we've got resources on resources here, because bishop g5 here is a move. Okay. Got ideas and ideas. Let's jump in here. That can't be bad. Cannot be bad. You want this pawn? You can have it. c6 you don't have. I assume that was why they went here, to keep the c-pawn flexible, but I can't imagine letting me come in there. Their knight is defending c7. Okay, they're playing this, which I thought was bold. Because bishop g5. Well, an idea I had that I didn't even see last turn was queen moves and then bishop f6. Is that possible? All right, let me play this to start off and let me think about things. f6 I can't imagine you play. Takes check and you just lose. So, okay, yeah, I had a couple good ideas. I like this. Okay, wait, bishop f6. It's very compelling to me. Wait, they also gave this pawn, so the thing is, if I just grab it, then you like take a4 and like, okay, I'm pretty exposed over here. I'm thinking about this. Take, rook g8, queen h4, rook g6 forced, right? Yeah, bishop d3. It's actually very compelling. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We already got the Gambit glasses on. Let's keep things spicy. The other good move was just like h4 and adding resources here. Okay, takes, pawn takes, right? Threatening queen g7. They're not well equipped to defend this. In fact, that's why I wanted their queen to go here to get in the way. Takes, takes. So rook g8. Oh, they went for this. Interesting. Surprising. Spicy. What do you got? Okay, rook g8, queen h4. Yes, this is the right square. Because I need to guard f6. I need to threaten here, so rook g6 I think is the only move. Right, and if you stop your calculation there, I lose. In fact, I might lose either way. But if I take h7, it takes, and you're escaping to e7, because I'm not having a ton of development here. But this just feels like immediately targeting that rook, which is the only thing really between me and checkmate. Stopping this entrance, and that's also why I went to h4, so that I guard f6 in this position. And also why your queen is misplaced right now. It can't just take f6 right away. So, and none of these other pieces feel like they can do anything to me. Enjoy your little box over here. I'm looking over there. So king g8 seems logical. The rook is still not a threat to move. Now they want f takes g6, and if I step in, then queen f7. What I would need there is knight g5 to slam the door. Okay, so let's do that. We need more pieces. We need more pieces. We need more pieces. Pieces we can do. Yeah, so any rook move, then now h7 is the game. This was smart, because you need this and now queen f8, right, to step over. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Maybe I'm losing here. Maybe I'm losing. But my idea now is takes, takes. Queen h6 gets parried very effectively. So here f takes knight g5. h5. No, they would lose if I had another move. They can resign. Because h5 I have f7. Forking. So the knight on g5 is very effective. In fact, e5 I can just ignore this. Takes is check, doesn't matter. They will still lose. So they need queen f8, if I am correct. If queen f8, I probably need to take that rook. Because if knight g5, they have queen h6, which is a good move, as I understand it. Otherwise, takes, f takes g6, then knight g5, then h6 or 5, then f7, might run out of steam. If I play knight g5 now, yeah, queen h is a good move. It is a good move. I wish I were lying, but I'm not. But I have to take this rook, because queen h6 is a good move. And they found all the right resources. So here, and then f takes. Okay, okay, but I was trying to win right away, and okay, I can't, because I don't have any other pieces to help. Don't have enough pieces to help, rather. h6, f7, king g7, and kind of out of steam. I need, my knight is too far. I need something else. I don't have it. Alright, yeah, I would also have wanted h4 here. Potentially a good idea is just like queen g5, h4, h5. Even a better idea than castling. Alright, we're really saying take anything you want over here. I want h4, h5. Because, like, if I castle, then I move my rook again, and then I would have to move my rook again. Like, then what's it doing? No. The rook's route into the game is here. It's right there where it is. So the knight still did useful things by being out there and forcing them to go, like, here, 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 right? Okay, not the most productive moves. Obviously, they want these guys in the game. And I didn't sacrifice too much. What am I down here? Oh, because I sacrificed an exchange at the beginning. So I am down a full piece. Okay. Again, not obvious what you do, because my idea is actually crystal clear. I just want this. You can fortify g6, but I will be activating my rook. I'm sure the engine will say black is winning here, but it's not obvious. You are up a piece, but your pieces are not doing a ton. So you're up a piece if you consolidate, which could be a big if. My idea is very simple. Okay, they're doing that. Makes sense. Will I take it right now? They're just bundling up here. h6 is probably quite annoying. So I should take it. And then come in rook h6. We're just going all out right there. And then knight h4. I don't know. Queen f7, knight h4. We just pile up right there. Why not? Why wouldn't I do that? So the king maybe should run. Might not be a bad idea, because my knight actually doesn't have these squares. If the king runs, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw in a resource on this side of the board to try to give myself knight e5. Didn't run. I have this. It's a draw. Or is it a win? It might be winning, but it's too much to calculate. This is winning? Yeah, I win. I win. I got him. Queen takes. I have just this. So it's this even easier. This. Rook g6 or rook h8. Okay. Could have won quicker, potentially. Okay, they seem a little stuck. Seem a little stuck, but we got him. I mean, for all intents and purposes. Wait, no. I don't want to get forked. Quick moves. This is good, if I can do it. Knight takes king f3, no forks. Mate. Nice. Wow, good game, fun game. This was a good opponent, but we gambited, and it was a really interesting game. Thank you again for recommending that I play this. All right, wait, let's talk about this opening, because I actually don't really know this. Okay. Wow, we have a lot to discuss here and a lot to analyze. I don't know. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head where exactly things went south for black. Wow, good stuff. Okay, we had an Alkine variation, which, by the way, in a vacuum, I recommend to people even before I became the Gambit man. Just like, good opening to play. Like, you'll know it better than your opponent. It's simple stuff. Just like, get this knight out of danger. d6, g6, bishop g7, castles, hit the overextended pawns. Simple stuff to play. Not a lot of ways that things can go terribly wrong from it, as I understand, and it's something spicy to do. Okay, c4, knight b6. The idea of this, the Tate variation, named after the late great international master Emery Tate, is this move a4. So we played c4, we're playing a4, trying to trap this knight. Now, okay, if they ignore us, a5, right? The knight is out of squares. What black should do is to play a5 to just stop that, and now it looks like we've just created a big hole right there for this knight or bishop or whatever to jump to. The point, though, is that we now play rook a3, and what I thought the point was after that was, like, to swing it around in some lines to, like, g3, and which actually halts the development of black's pieces here, threatening here. Alas, this is actually not so good because black can just chip away at the center, and we've done something weird. So objectively, it's not so good, but okay, this was played before engines, and it's spicy, and you throw your opponent off guard, not obvious what to do next. What we were recommended is the Gambit. It is Andrew Tate's father, Emery Tate, yeah. e6, d4. d4, just letting that rook hang, and my opponent takes the bait, right? You can actually see it's a good Gambit, and you can tell because the gap between bishop takes a3 and moves after that this is not large, right? So they take a3, and after knight takes a3, what they don't realize is you've put your pawns, central pawns, on light squares, and with this pawn all the way to e5, that's a very important dark square bishop. It's a very important dark square bishop, and you can see, so knight a6, it's already a blunder, even though it looks like pretty clear. Okay, where else is this knight going? It's going to hop to this b4 square, where it's an outpost that can never be kicked. But now after queen g4, this is already very frustrating for black to deal with, because g7 is hit. If you play g6, you'll lose your queen. That's how bad your dark squares are. You'll just lose your queen right away. It's trapped. Otherwise, castles, bishop h6. Okay, at minimum, you'll lose the rook, but it's probably worse than that. I don't have to take the rook, and I'll play h4, h5, and come checkmate you. Mr. Matt Bader, thank you so much for the donation. Sorry to miss you. Go Gambit Chads. Appreciate you. Queen to g4. So king to f8 was really the only move to defend g7. So already that's a big win for me. That's a big win for me. And we continue to keep on the pressure here with this interesting move knight b5. Okay, it's recommending just knight to f3, which makes sense. I did need that move going forward. Like I needed more pieces in this attack as we launched it. But we went for it, right? If I give black a few moves, okay, they play d6, they make this trade. That queen is open onto me. She might have some squares. It would be scarier if this knight were on c6, I will tell you. Because pressure here and pressure here would actually force me to do something about that. It might even force me to take, and then e5 would be another resource, but not that I want to give that up at all. Knight b5 just felt like it made sense. Where else is my knight going to go? But things were more urgent to get towards the king. And this knight didn't really do anything for me most of that game. So you play your d6, logical move to chip away. But here's where we start to go for it. So bishop to g5, and they slide over queen to e8. Right? I don't know where else you go, really. Queen d7 is not where you want to go, but potentially that was a better idea. F6 here, like I was saying, just take, and check, and queen comes into g7. So queen e8 played, and bishop to f6 is actually a terrible move. Oh, man, it was a terrible move. It was a terrible move. It hates it. I don't know, but what does Stockfish know anyway? It was a fun move. It was a fun move. Yeah, okay, just knight to f3 and keep things going, bring out pieces, try to get towards this king. We have a lot of compensation, and we're actually not even worried about these pawns here, because if we can get to the king quick enough, then we get to it quick enough. I don't know. Also, okay, bring the pawn to h6 could be fun, if, you know, you don't want to sacrifice the bishop. Bishop was quicker. Bishop was quicker. So we brought it there. Why is this bad? Because it seemed very spicy in the game. Takes f6. Very clear idea. Your pieces are out of position to deal with your issues on the dark squares. I want to get you on the dark squares. Okay, rook g8, only move between me and checkmate. Queen to h4, rook to g6. This is all correct stuff, as I see the eval not changing. This move. I see. Yes, they can actually recreate that square. And I'm out of steam here. I don't have any other open files. Whoops. In the game, rook g6. So, you know, my opponent did what both he and I calculated. Play your bishop to d3, targeting that rook. That, yeah, if it moves anywhere, I will win the game. Here, takes h6, and checkmate. So you can't do that. Bishop rook just needs to sit there and die, which means that I haven't sacrificed too much, although the eval is still minus 2.2. So my opponent playing queen to f8. The thing is, my opponent became very scared of me. Right? Like, I think what they needed to do at some moment is launch some sort of more direct defense. And when they become kind of scared of you, because I played this, hey, I sacrificed the rook over here, I sacrificed the bishop over here, right? Here, I was actually down a full rook. Okay, I'm getting exchange back, so it'll only be down a bishop. But it really helps, because it allows me to do whatever I want, kind of without them doing anything to me. So I really like that. A lot of this is kind of a psychological game also. So I now have to take this rook, as queen to h6 was coming, and they're bringing over the queen to patch up their dark squares. F takes g6, but they haven't had the opportunity, because they've made a lot of queen moves, they made a lot of king moves, made a lot of rook moves. They haven't had the opportunity to bring these guys out, right? But if they do, like here, it takes c4, and they take this, they open this up, right? Okay, then I won't have any resources. Queen to g5 was a logical move to play in Blitz. Like, I wanted this, and to get to h7, and, like, throw in that check, but it would kind of be, as Daniel Naroditsky calls, one-move-itis. Or even here, two-move-itis, right? Like, oh, here, I have a mate threat. Oh, fun check, right? Looks great. There's no follow-up here. I don't have anything in this position, and I'm completely out of steam. This knight needs to move. There's nothing better. The knight just needs to move. And then they just take this. So, yeah, you need to have, like, an actual genuine attack. Queen g5 was, like, the most logical move to play here, because, okay, we're holding f6, and now my idea is just crystal clear, and it especially makes sense in Blitz. h4, h5, open that up. Those are gonna be my next two moves. What are you gonna do about it? So my opponent plays bishop to d7. Their grand plan was to play bishop to d7, bishop to e8, which is not a bad idea. Not a bad idea, because that is what I'm going to do, and the bishop was doing nothing. So, okay, I come here anyway, and yeah, here's where kind of being scared helps, because my opponent made a mistake here of just, like, playing bishop f7, just, like, trying to patch up. Their idea, I think, was bishop f7, and then, like, if, like, knight h4 to play, like, queen e8, right? Just, like, keep defending, don't look at ideas for myself. They do have a couple very strong moves. One that I'm realizing right now is knight to d7. Just knight to d7, and their next move is queen takes f6. And I think here, like, they can hold off long enough for queen takes f6, which is going to be a very effective defense. Just threaten something of mine. Other ideas, yeah, h6, right, which hits the queen enough, because they got the bishop there, enough to be able to play g5. and straighten this out and not allow a pawn trade, which would bring my rook into the game. And yeah, I'm out. It's like I just need another piece. I just need another piece, but I don't have it. My rook is still too far out of the game, and so they should be able to patch up here. Okay, king h7 was actually more effective. In the game, bishop f7, and all it took was one mistake. This is their first mistake of like any kind really in the whole game. Okay, knight a6 wasn't the best move, which was an inaccuracy, but they made a mistake finally, and it lets me into this game. So I play h takes g6, and they have to move that bishop again, and now here we come just pouring onto that bishop, right? If I led with knight h4, I think queen f7, and then not obvious how I follow up. I need my rook on h6, right? You can imagine this position. You'd love to play rook h6, right? So do it first. Do it first, even though there's actually really no threat. My opponent now just making moves. It's hard to recommend what to do. Hard to recommend what to do because I'm piling up here, right? You just take something here. It doesn't change anything. I think... Could you play knight d7 or would you lose? I think with rook d8, what they were trying to do, right? Because knight d7, I think there's take here and h5. And here, now I'm threatening queen h7, checkmate, and knight f7. Right, so if queen g8, for example, which is the only move that doesn't get you mated, or knight takes f6, whatever, I have knight f7, and you have to take it. What they wanted with rook d8, this is why they're not stupid, right? Rook d8, I think this is a very smart move, because you're looking at this position, and you're being like, what saves me here? It's this move rook d7, guards f7 and h7. I think that's why they did it. It's hard to... Yeah, I was looking at that idea too. Fortunately for me, this is still winning, because I have this move f7, cutting the rook. This is what I was calculating during the game, and I'm like, I don't have enough time. I played here f7, so I'm threatening this again, but I was looking at this, but this is just, yeah, I cut my calculation off here, but this is mate now. Right, so f7 here just ends the game. Very nice stuff here, and now just checkmate. Nice stuff. So, in the game, though, I opt for the more safe option of knight h4. What I'm seeing here, I'm just not sacrificing, and I'm just going to crash through. And this is still winning. This is still enough here. They play rook d7. Yeah, so that is their idea, to try to patch along the 7th rank, but they just have no defense. Now your only 7th rank defense is, unfortunately, for you to lose that rook. And here I'm able to take it, threatening rook h8, so you have to lose your queen as well. Check, and I was able to pick off that queen. And, okay, this was just a practical choice, just throwing my pawns at their king, and stayed away from any forks or any trickery here as we won the blitz out. So a really fun opening, and in fact, this might become my new go-to, because I play a lot of dummy Gambit, and it's gotten a little too popular. It's so many people... Okay, I'll tell you something. So... This has happened quite a few times now. Like, people come up to me at chess tournaments or chess events or whatever. They're like, hey, oh, you're William Gray from YouTube. I'm a big fan of yours. Love your gambits. I'm always like, oh, that's great. Nice to meet you. What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. What's your favorite gambit on my channel? Which one do you like to play the most? The most common answer I get, it's not like the Bushgas Gambit or the Von Papiel or Von Hennig or any of these others, or London Crusher 9000, any of these others that I like worked really hard on, and I feel like they're, you know, really interesting, innovative ideas, playing with the move order, contributions to chess theory that I'm really proud of. The most common answer I get is the dummy Gambit. People love this one. People love this one, even though I literally named it as such to remind you that it is for dummies. But it's this line, I'll show you. It's with here, bishop takes f7 check, here in e6. There's a lot of, it's fun. There's a lot of ways for black to go wrong. In fact, every way other than the best way, they can go wrong. There's some fun checkmates here, where, okay, king here, right, they gotta stay tethered. Okay, here we can mate them like so. This is already checkmate. Okay, king h6, there's queen e3. A lot of ways for black to go wrong. But the best way for them to defend with here and here, against this checkmating idea, it's a refutation of the line. It's just straight up a refutation. You're just down a piece. So, you know, you're statistically likely to do well, but I can't in good faith, as like someone who people actually listen to, continue to recommend this opening so much. But like, keep having fun, live life. The other ones, like, you know, for me, there's so much garbage in chess opening recommendations on the internet, especially things that are in my sphere of like, here's cool sacrifice checkmate in 7 moves. Like, how many times have you seen this video on the internet of like win in 7 moves with the England Gambit? And it's like this line. Oh my god. Like, if you just need to tell someone one move to make, I just need to tell you, give me 5 seconds of your time and I'll refute this line. Play knight c3 instead of bishop c3. then your opening is bad. Okay? and that's true with the dummy gambit, right? The lines I recommend, like the best moves, the refutations are A, extremely hard to find over the board. B, not even full refutations. Like the worst case scenario is you're down a pawn still with compensation, right? Like you need to actually address the best lines on your channel. Of course, what I'm talking about is this. Oh, checkmate in 7 moves. Yes. It's garbage. Don't do this. So there's a firm line in the sand, as firm as lines in the sand go, between that tricky trappy stuff, which I don't recommend if you're just like playing hope chess, right, with genuinely aggressive, fun ideas where it's good opening content if the person there is actually going over the best, like literally if I were the other side, what would I do? Here's what you do against that, right? Like that's how you need to make all your decisions in general. Attacks work because of overwhelming resources, not and you know, practical decisions, yes, but not because we're just hoping for them to just completely miss something. So this is an important stuff, and I think it's genuinely true with this opening here, because Queen G4 is a very strong idea no matter what. Like, they don't have the dark square bishop in this position. How are you defending against that? You need to be extremely precise in this position, and white should have a lot of fun. So I think this is actually a really fun one. And otherwise, like, okay, if they don't take this rook, I think the rook can be quite effective. So I like this stuff. I like the Alekhine. I like these gambits against the Alekhine. Those are my thoughts in general. Obviously, there's a lot more to discuss. Appreciate you all. Keep gambiting. Keep gambiting. I stand by all the content I put out. I take the responsibility that people actually listen to me very seriously, right? And so I work hard on it. Like I've shown you guys 1/10,000th of the stuff I've checked. There's other great YouTube creators and people, other people with great ideas, and a lot of other great openings out there. A lot of those people are in my Discord, who keep, you know, recommending studies and openings and gambits and discussing them and trailblazing chess theory. All of that stuff is great. I'm just saying I work very hard on this with databases, Lichess, or Leela, Stockfish, etc. So, yeah. Anyway. That's my 2 cents. Something's getting me mad. Bush gas, please? Oh, don't need to tell me twice. What's up, Reston Forest? It's the Chess Boxer. It is. It is. Wait. We've had a few great matches. I won. I have the footage. I am making breakdowns of it right now, and the content will be up, and it is such cool content. I'm so excited. It's such a spectator sport, too. It's like you play chess, pauses, get in the ring, box, back and forth. How does one affect the other, right? I'm going to be breaking down this match, breaking down the chess. Chess games were awesome. Gambit full. Okay. We've got a few things hanging, but they have 2, I have 1. Andrew Tate's dad spent more time on how to refute the Alekhine than how to raise his kids. You know what? It's still a pretty noble thing he did on how to refute the Alekhine. Great stuff. Appreciate his contributions to opening theory. Emery Tate, great man, certainly. Boom. Yum. That worked out for me. Things were hanging, but I took 2 and they took 1. We're up. Hi, William. Do you give private chess lessons? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. DM me on Discord. What you should do is the link to my Discord is there in the link tree. Join the Discord, and I am there. I'm W. Grafe. Okay, my opponent cutting my castle. Interesting. I will have to go the other way. Here and here. I played knight to f6 because this other knight could have bothered me, right? In ac3, okay, I don't want to let you get there, so I would have played a6, but then here I didn't want to let you get there. So I play knight f6 so that the knight has no route to d6, controlling the square. Yeah, like I said. I mean, okay, I could castle. It's not the big deal. I also would throw this move in, but I've had more important things. Knight d4 I could play. It's kind of interesting. Coming in here, d1. Or I'll just play a 6. Like I said, knight is here, stopping any invasions. Look more buff than I remember. Thank you, thank you. We are right around mid-high 150s. If I'm being real, the muscle mass and the body fat is as optimized as it gets. We've been working hard. So we're ready for fighting. And we've been working hard on some other things too. You know, I am a chess player who picked up boxing, right? There's boxers who pick up chess in this sport and that are going to be also at the World Chessboxing Championships in Serbia in September. The boxers who picked up chess, their win condition against me, and really almost anybody's win condition against me, is going to be to knock me out as quickly as they can. To not have to play more chess and lose. If we're being real. They're not like going for points. And they might be very good boxers, very experienced ones. Like I'm a very experienced chess player. So which one do you think is scarier to get crushed in? And that's why I'm so motivated. Also, I mean, I'm just the type of person that I don't struggle to get motivated. I mean, I don't need anyone's accountability or anything but my own. Alright, I'll castle out of this. It's kind of annoying, actually. But yeah, it's a really cool sport. It's a really cool sport, and I'm really excited and honored to be sort of at the forefront of it. Although, you know, there's a lot of people who've like put in a lot of work into growing this sport before me that I'm incredibly grateful for. That like I can just show up and just do this and not have to like do any of the logistics or anything. Like there's a lot of people, especially in the New York area and such, that I owe a huge debt of gratitude to. It's so cool. And you guys will get to see it. Follow my journey. Ooh, okay. Trade. No. Let's go here. Okay, just rook e1. Get some stuff off the board now that we're a clean rook ahead. Chessboxing World Championships happening in Serbia? Yeah. In Eastern Europe, as I understand it, they're the best. Like, you know, if you're Russian, what do you do other than play chess and fight? I'm joking. Slightly. But like, I know chess boxing is like actually a sport that like you're trained in chess boxing, like from a young age, not even just one or the other. So yeah, so it's in Serbia. Here, I tell people about it. Most people have never heard of it, obviously, but it's so cool. People I tell about it are like, yeah, it's so cool. So, you know, it's imminently going viral. And you could tell it's cool because of what I call chess boxing bait. That, like, you know, you ever seen Hikaru or Magnus or Levy or whatever talk about chess boxing and such? They're not getting in the ring. But they'll, like, I saw, like, Levy posted a video someone sent me of, like, him punching a bag or something. Which is cool, which is fun. And obviously, like, totally support. Great workout and everything. But okay. This is why I called it chess boxing bait. Are there checks for steroids, etc., before you can compete? It's a good question. Potentially a racist question, because I just mentioned the Russians. I don't know if that's why you asked. I don't know, to tell you the truth. I feel like for combat sports, correct me if I'm wrong, but like for example, my body is already at peak muscle mass for my weight. And so, like, steroids wouldn't even help. It would actually really potentially mess up my head for the chest portion, which you need to really lock into, and that's mostly what decides the match. So I'm not sure it would have much of an advantage to begin with because of weight classes and because of the chest portion. But maybe. I don't know. I'd be happy to. I really don't take much of anything other than creatine and protein. What other requests do we get here? We had a request for Scandinavian modern defense. Let's do it. I'm taking requests. Type what opening you want me to play, and I'll play it. You just need to be subscribed. Okay. I see it was literally, you wrote out these moves. E4, D5, EX, D5, Knight f6, D4, C6, and E5. This was Schrantz's video. This was Schrantz. Schrantz made this. Okay, my opponent playing quickly means that maybe they actually know what to do against this. Alright. We are a few pawns down. I presume I should trade queens here. So we will don these Gambit glasses. A few is quite literal. 1, 2, 3. ECB, we don't have any of those. Let's go Knight G4. The only reason I would come to E4 would be like to not block the bishop against Knight H3, guarding F2. That wasn't a resource to begin with. My opponent is doing pretty logical things. There are several pawns up, so they don't need to do anything too weird. Alright, Knight D7 I will play. Because I want, like, I'm considering Knight A6 even, but they can take it. Okay, any bishop move, I can take this. H3, trying to force my hand. And of course, it does force my hand. Let's take E3, I believe. It's not like I can castle. I don't have queens on the board still, right? So let's take this and castle now. They're playing quickly, but not necessarily the best. Is actually my read on this, because what we're gonna do here, bishop a6 is nothing to it. All right, we're just gonna take this pawn, so we've reduced the deficit to 2. That was necessary, or else I was going check in here, or trade on f1 first. I think still, okay, I mean, I can't go wrong with just like here and here, right? You can never go wrong with that. But here, rook d2 is compelling, certainly. I mean, we can continue to cut down on the deficit. Unlike the United States government, we can actually grab some stuff. Let's go. Okay, but you know what? I feel like I'm better off just bringing in more pieces. So Knight f3. Knight c4 is very compelling. Potentially just the best move. So is rook e8. And just taking on e5. Yeah, actually, I have a lot of good moves here. I think this position is even better for me than I realized. Bishop a6. Trying to, like, get into d2 is another idea, but it's actually not as good as the other two I said. Maybe just rook e8. Knight c4 is nice, but okay, here takes e4, takes. That's like almost mate. Knight c4 is also a really good move. Okay, let's just go here. You know things are good when you're torn about, because king e2 is just not a good choice to square. It blocked their development. They need to get the pieces. You really need to get pieces in front of the king. When the king is in front of pieces, it's not good. Oh, okay, wait. This is just, they can resign. No, they just lose. A3. No, we're just completely oblivious. Well, this could be mate, but this is better. Wow, this is gonna be a brutal checkmate. First of all, I have rook takes c3 check. Second of all, maybe I can checkmate. Check. Can I force a mate? If If you go back, then here I can take your rook at minimum. I mean, this position is so good. It's actually crazy how good this position is. All right. We're going to try to be cute because I have too many ways to win, and we're going to try to find the cutest. Okay, here I can just take that bishop. Yeah, I wanted to find a mate. I think we got him. Look at these rooks and these bishops just streaking down. Streaking down. What was my nickname in high school? No, it was not. Let's go with... How do we get him? Here, knee 4 is actually kind of annoying. I wanted to do it all with checks, and I can't go rook takes. But it's the most effective move. I can just go bishop takes. Let's play... Okay, f5. Yeah. Yeah? No. Yes? Here, check here, check here. We kind of lose control a little bit. Lose control a little bit. No, this is a good way to do it. We're going to go check. We're going to come here. And then the next thing I wanted to do was swing this around. So the pawns will stay here to set up a screen. Otherwise, so they went directly there. Okay, rook g3. No, this is the best. I want check and check. This might be good. Here. Oh, that's so annoying. Wait. Check. This was a really dumb way to do it, but I think it's forced. Okay. Not the smartest way to do it, but we did it. I think it was forced. I didn't see anything else they could do there in this position, but really dumb way to do it. Was I losing here? No, it's mate in 6. It's mate in 6. What can they do to even extend it? Oh, just throw in some checks. Yeah, just check. Check. Okay, now they're mated imminently. But okay, we ran them out of squares. Very ineffectively. Yeah, there was actually no imminent checkmate here. Oh, there was. Bishop e3 was the fastest way. Okay, I mean, better was just like here and check and... I mean, better was this. I was annoyed that I had to go bishop takes e4. I mean, come on. Alright, well, we got him. We got him. Yeah, fun opening, fun opening. So, knight f6 here. Obviously, if they play c4, this is actually a really, really nice gambit. Objectively, even, too. Like, black has a ton of compensation after e5, bishop c4. Like, imagine a Smith-Mora, where-ish, but now they've played this dumb move c4, given the massive hole right there. So, pretty nice one. They should not, like, if they play c4, they should actually let you take it. And then, okay, you can play here, bishop g7 castles, I think is a pretty nice way to play in this, like, Panov setup. Otherwise, okay, what we're talking about here is just playing c6 anyway and just sacrificing stuff. Shout out to Schrantz and to whoever recommended this video. Appreciate y'all. Or this opening. We had in the game, yeah, they just took all the pawns, which is not a bad way to play, and just, okay, didn't get forked on f2. Okay, h3, I mean, yeah, you're just asking me to make a move that I kind of wanted to play anyway. White was very slow on their development here, and it allowed me to just get this position, which is already really good. Okay, this is just a huge blunder, and allowed, like, at minimum, just taking the knight with check, right? With the, like, how effective all these pieces are, right? My moves were very simple. There was no tactics or anything. I just played bishop c5, rook e8, right? I didn't tempt myself with, like, anything else. So I just, you know, did good stuff, brought all the pieces into the game. Okay, I mean, this is already bad. They need to find some way to deal with this, but it's not even obvious how to do this. Okay, e4, you should lose, at least by trading it. Okay. Good game. Good game, let's keep it going. Although, wasn't this candy you were hoping for? Resting Forest, what's up? If you were a 1300 ELO chess player but a pro boxer, you'd back yourself versus me. A pro boxer. A pro boxer is extremely good. Because even amateurs are extremely good. So I'll tell you something, right? Okay, as I face e4, a6. Just come on. I would consider myself probably about, I would say 17, 18, 1800 ELO boxer. But like 1800 ELO on chess.com because I don't have an official fight, like a tournament fight. And so like I'm good. Like any people who are like not experienced or don't really know what they're doing, you know, probably not going to even touch me. With that said, as I consider here d5, which is actually quite interesting. Kind of would want this move, wouldn't I? But there's c4, which is annoying. Or should I just play around this? Or should I take on c5? It's gonna maybe take on c5. I recognize this is probably exactly what they wanted. Okay, I'll take it. What was I saying? Right. So, like, I was feeling great about myself, blah, blah, blah. I sparred against my coach, my private boxing coach, who is an amateur fighter, has a number of amateur fights, good record. Very good record. He outtouched me, like, 5-1, right? I would say, easily. 4-1, 5-1, yeah. Like, no power shots or anything. I'm not sure he was going for that. Wasn't because of any physical advantage or anything. Just straight up. The reads are at another level. The timing is at another level. It felt like every time I came forward, I was walking right into a punch. This is all to say, he's extremely good. He's not even a pro fighter. Right? So there's such levels to this, is basically what I'm trying to say. Right? There's such a skill gap. Infinitely wide. Like, he's so good. Right? And so it's like, the same with chess. The same with chess. It's a sport of extreme strategy, technique, and skill. And because, you know, it's a mono-e-mono thing, it's what makes chessboxing make sense to begin with, allows for such specialization and such skill. Sorry, I'm a little distracted here trying to make h4, h5 work before I lose this pawn. I think we're good. So, a pro fighter, what we're basically talking about is someone who needs to knock me out in the first round. I think I'm good enough, the same way an 1800 ELO chess player is good enough to hang on against me for you know, a certain amount of time. Let's move this rook. I don't know. Is the other one doing anything important? I can't imagine I'm moving this after I'm moving this. So, what was I discussing? It's possible for a one-round knockout But there really has to be, like I was saying, a very large skill gap to get knocked out in 3 minutes. Right? So a pro fighter probably would. Probably would. Knock me out in 3 minutes. Yeah. Maybe not me by September, because we're working very hard and we're getting much better. I don't know. Like a pro fighter. That's something. The same way an 1800 ELO chess player could make me spend 90 seconds on my clock, and therefore be able to box twice against me. Right? If you spend 90 seconds on your clock, then you have enough time to stall out to force a second round of boxing. But otherwise, you're guaranteed to box one time. Anyway, this is a very interesting discussion of all the strategies and everything in it. You know, obviously, I am a unique sort of chess boxer because a lot of them are much more balanced. Should I play knight g5 right away? Let's play this like solid move c3. I don't know. So that knight c5, I can keep this bishop. None of this. None of this, right? So we basically got a French structure without the dark square bishops, which I'm really trying to play to my advantage, as now we look towards here. Okay, knight g5, this is hanging. Oops. h6 here. I want to step in. So let's play this nice move, queen e3. Are they looking for b4? Potentially. But they're now going to have some dark square problems, lacking that dark square bishop, right? So we're actually doing some smart things. This knight can maybe jump here, which would making that trade would relieve the pressure. Yeah, they played h6 actually before. I should have played h6. I should play h6. So let's just continue to take away their counterplay. f6 has never really been possible. I feel like the pressure on e6 would overwhelm. So let's take away b4. It was just kind of annoying. As now, if I can keep this locked up, right, g4, g5 becomes quite compelling. Okay, let's continue. Some good ideas here. So this was their idea potentially, but I would just step here. A knight on d4 now is stronger. I'm also taking away knight c5, right? Potentially they can come here and make that useful. Let's go in. Okay, let's go g4, g4, g5. My opponent is without ideas right now. And I'm just scared of maybe a sacrifice at some moment, opening this up, you know, like I want like rook g1 and g5, and just get them there. Queen f4, knight d4. Let's go with queen f4. Is f6 good now? Knight d4 maybe was better. There was knight c5, which was my concern. Okay, g5. So we're slowly working them down. Let's go with queen takes. I'm really asking for f6, but I want queen g6 next. All right, I'm just keeping it closed. If I keep it closed, I can do whatever I want. Okay, but now we should get them with just h6 and sacrifice, yeah? They needed to strike. This was taking too long. Their whole thing took too long. This. They needed to break through a little sooner than when they did. They didn't really cause me a problem. Queen d8 looks like a really nice move, but I have here, which is check. Can't trade the queens. In fact, I have it anyway. Check. They have here. Kind of annoying. So I want that, of course. Let's go in and take. And I have like all sorts of resources with my rooks are well placed too. Alright, so rook takes f6, guards here, but I would take d5. Continue to add guys to this. Stir in the pot. I want to come back here. No, that's me. Okay, yeah, really nice game here. I know I was like a little bit distracted, but I think this is actually a really nice example of kind of how to work him down. How to work him down. Because my opponent played this with a6, which is just kind of just messing around, and I'm not really sure what's actually the best way to deal with this. What I played was okay and just pretty simple. I know there's like a lot of ways you can fall for this bait by like, okay, not shielding g2, and maybe they throw an f5, try to trap your rook. Or like you need knight c3, of course there's b4. So they're going to attack e4 if you take the whole center. But I'm pro, like, okay, you mess around on that side of the board, like, okay, I'll just take the whole center. I will just take the whole center. So knight to f3, bishop to b7, bishop to d3 played. e6 and castles. I'm just doing very simple stuff here. Some interesting chess boxing questions. No, there's no penalty for just maintaining distance. No. You absolutely should just maintain distance, and be more defensive if you think you can win in the chess. I mean, but if the other person's going to lose in the chess or is a better boxer than you, obviously they should come at you, and you can't just keep running away. Ring is not that big, so there's being defensive, but you're not just going to do that, and you can't just run. So you gotta be good. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. So c5, gotta get head movement, parries, good footwork, be able to hit back. All right, c5. It's annoying because I would like to play d5 here, and that's actually a good way. I know, so where this comes from, I know the best way to play against the Owens. First of all, I play like the reverse Leela Gambit, but I know the best way to play against the Owens is setting up with queen e2 so that you can actually answer with d5, right? So c5, d5, it actually just jams in that bishop, right? This trade is check, so you won't lose this pawn, and then you can just kind of like defend that pawn c4 if need be, or okay, actually probably yes to c4. They can't take it right now. Let's say this happens, right? You've jammed in that bishop, and you've maintained a space advantage, and your light square bishop even became good. So that's always a nice trade for white. Otherwise, it's not really an option here because there is c4 directly trapping my bishop, or other things that can be annoying. Rook e1 I think was an option here. Okay, I just played the very simple. Okay, c3 as well. I just played the very simple. I just took the pawn. Just took the pawn that was bothering me. Even though I let them develop in one move, I would have liked to have made them burn a move there. Whatever. We were just moving our pieces. So queen e2, just normal development stuff. They play an 87, which also made a lot of sense, right? If they go here, okay, e5 is something I want to do to get cooking on that side of the board, or maybe even pin them first, right? So an 87 made a lot of sense here. Bishop e3, and so this was a very important point. Bishop e3, I want you guys to remember this, that I swapped off for this dark square bishop. And so now when we proceed, and then they play, so everything here is logical. I've traded my dark square bishop, and I also have light square center pawns, right? I have light square center pawns, so that means they're actually able to look at these squares. So I play your g3, and already here, the engine's actually favoring black, minus 0.1 if they just play something normal like knight c6. What my opponent did is they saw g3, and they saw that this bishop can cook down here, right? You can imagine, if this knight moves at any point, right, this can be extremely dangerous, even if it's like my turn, because you have to defend against queen g2 and against queen h1. So, it could be extremely, extremely dangerous. So they saw g3, and they're like, oh, d5, let me trade these pawns, not considering that I would just play the very simple e5. I was just like, no. And now what's happened is this is a huge change in the position. This bishop, which was a very good piece a moment ago, and so maybe at some point they could have gone f5, made this trade, right? Cooked with the rook and the bishop, targeting this, which is now soft, right? In h6, you've made me play this move, which is a little uncomfortable for me. I didn't want to allow that. Everything they did has been very smart. But d5, they got a little overconfident here. They played this one pretty quickly. Now after e5, this bishop is jammed in. What was before a very good piece is now going to be stuck by its pawn, so long as I can maintain control over this square. Also with e5, this bishop is now very good. I got my pawn to a dark square, and we are pointing over there, and this knight can be removed by my pawn, and then otherwise that king is totally exposed. You can't get a knight to the standard development square that protects a castle of king normally with the pawn on e5 and the bishop here. That's a nice combination. So my bishop became very good. Theirs became very bad, as long as I can keep d4 off the table. And any like f6, making that pawn trade, right? e5, d4, right? If they can really maintain control over those dark squares and get an e5 after f6, then that's a problem for me. But that wasn't to be, right? So they're playing here knight d7, targeting this pawn, right? So they're immediately trying to target this pawn. I'm playing h4, trying to remove that knight here. But all I need to do is just, bring my last piece into the game. I defend e5 enough times. Rook c8. Yeah, so the engine's telling them go for f6. And I think that's absolutely what they had to do. Yes, there's a number of weaknesses that can result from this. Like, so here, let's say take, and like, okay, my knight can come to d4. I want to take this, and you're going to have to guard e6. But, at least, like, you're fighting to make that work and fighting to free your pieces here. And all of black's pieces are, doing a good job trying to make that happen, right? But you can't live with all these pawns just on light squares and my pawn sitting on this dominant dark square, especially given the coloration of our bishops, right? So they need to fight for something, either that or, trying to play d4 maybe at some moment, which would really tear this open. They did not, right? And so they're looking instead at queenside play. So rook c8, which was like a totally fine move. Like how could this be a blunder? It's never going to be a blunder, but it doesn't cause me any issue. Like c2 is just very solidly defended by my bishop. What would be annoying though, okay, potentially knight c5 trading off for that bishop and hitting here, right? So that's something I had to be aware of. So for that reason, after h5, removing that knight, I played the very calm c3, further gripping this d4 square, and now I can deal with knight c5 by coming back here, which gives me more ideas of maybe in the future, if that square is available to me, queen d3 and threatening mate on h7, which can now be very difficult to defend. Knight f5, I can make that move. So, especially with g6, my pawn's already right there if I'm able to get in queen d3. So they didn't want to do that, even though the knight could be effective on e4. I have good control over there. Again, they should probably be fighting for this. So they're playing knight c6, right, making some breaks on the table, right? So they're realizing maybe I am very strong on the king side. You need to create counterplay somewhere in the game. So I'm stepping up here with queen e3. Slightly better was, okay, knight b3, making use of this knight, trying to maybe stop d4, put my own knight there. Makes some sense. Bishop to b1, looking at that idea with queen d3 that I just mentioned. When I played queen e3, what I was looking for, and the reason queen e3 isn't good is actually because f6 is good, which they didn't play again. What I was looking for was h6, g6, and now just trying to look at these dark squares, although it's not obvious how I get in as long as that knight is there. But, okay, so queen e3. The best idea was with bishop here and queen here, which now hits h7, and not easy how to defend against that if you're black. Okay, queen e3, though, not a bad choice. It's a better square than e2, I will say, because it also stops d4. f6 they should play, right? So takes, they have to play rook takes f6, a little awkward, but they can here try to play e5. Even though, yes, things are weaker now, I can attack them. At least, your pawn, you have a goal. Your pawn's to be mobile, to grab these dark squares and then open up that diagonal. It's the central fight of this position. Instead, they play h6, stopping my h6 idea, which I do understand. This looks intimidating. But your knight here should be able to hold that for the most part in the game. So h6, I just play a3. Just, again, you're not going to play f6. I can just take time to play a3 and stop your other ideas, which I figured was b4 here. Takes, b4 takes, knight takes b4. This can be very annoying. The c file's open. Then they're doing stuff here. I want only the king side to be open, right? I want everything else locked up. So they're playing here now queen b8. I think now, right, if you don't like f6, you don't have any ideas in this position. And so you're just kind of like moving your pieces around, which is not good. You need to come get me. My opponent played solidly, but I think they were a little scared of me. You need something that you are playing for in the position. With enough time, I can do anything. And I really took that to heart, right? So now you're just making moves. You're just shuffling your pieces around. With enough time, yeah, I'll just do whatever I want. And whatever I want is just going to be g4, g5, and just walking you down and just getting you on that file. So here, like, is really a moment where you need f6. I think now, though, like, this jumps in, and this is, like, pretty clearly bad. I'm hitting e6 now in a couple different ways. You got to defend that, and then, the right moment I take it, or here, even f4, and just keeping the dominant pawn there. I think it's still something you should do, because the alternative is just much worse. So queen b6, I play queen f4. Okay, better was this. Makes sense. Because, again, f6 was needed to be played. Something to come get me, something to fight against me. The alternative, yeah, is, okay, a5, they have this idea, but it's, too little too late. It is a good idea. It is a good idea if, I didn't have all this time to play queen e3, g4, g5, bringing this pawn up the board. And so at this point here, I just win. Even without bringing the rook to g1, I play your h6, threatening mate on g7, and these pieces, right, are not bothering me or causing any problems to me. Oh, wow, this isn't even winning. For that reason, I should have played, like, here, probably to prepare king h2, rook g1 without dealing with this. All right, so you can imagine takes. Okay, wait, now this is winning. Takes e6. H6, this isn't even winning because king h8, my king is in a bad situation. That's actually the issue. Rook g8 is extremely effective because my king is there on the other end. We both miss king h8. Typically, right, you wouldn't have that if there was, like, check and then mate. It's not even something you consider. But, wow, here I'm losing. Interesting. Yeah, I need here to prepare that. Wow. Bishop takes g6. Suddenly, I give them a great resource in the position. Yeah, they play f6. So they hang on for a couple moves here. Check, trying to play queen g7, which is actually, like, a pretty nice move, right? Double check. But even though they're both hanging, you can still get away with that. So the queen comes into g7, takes here. Yeah, king h8 and rook g8. I missed that. So rook takes f6. I mean, and now, like, I'm just so... I was going to say fortunate that my rooks are there, but, it's the center of the board. That's where I put my rooks. So these files opened up. My rooks were ready for that. F6 came at a very late point in the game. Here, of course, this is already quite lost. But my opponent, okay, didn't see that that was checkmate. Okay, interesting game and an instructive point there to trade off the dark square bishops and to take control of those color squares. My opponent was without counterplay because they didn't have their dark square bishop, fighting for, these important squares on the board that eventually I was able to make work by just having ability to do whatever I wanted on the king side, and whatever I wanted turned out to be a big blunder, you know, unprepared for a potential rook g8. But, okay, we got away with this one. My opponent played well, but did not follow that up by causing me problems. Anyway, subscribe. I think an instructive game all around, even if that wasn't so flawless on my part. How old am I? With the next message was ELO, asterisk. I'm 25. My ELO is like 2210 FIDE. I was 2340 at one point, but we've fallen from grace. That's when I won the New York State Chess Championship. So I'm the current New York State champion. That's why I'm an FM. Well, 2340 is why I'm an FM. Let's play some slower games, just so we can maybe break them down a little bit more, and so that I can eat my salad. But this will be much more instructive. And we'll play better. We won't blunder things like we did that game. Do I enjoy playing chess or enjoy winning at it? Wow, these are deep questions. Good questions. I enjoy playing chess. I do. I do. I love the game. It's beautiful. There were times in my life, especially younger, where I would only enjoy winning. Like, I really wanted to win. Even a lot of my self-worth would come from my success in chess. You know, whether I was the national champion that year, okay, this only happened 4 times. So, which is still not bad. But you have to learn to love the game. For me, I was very fortunate to teach from a very young age. I was employed at Hunter College Elementary School when I was 14 for the first time, and taught at summer day camp there, worked with the kids. I was not a good coach at that point, but I became a good coach, I think because I started so young, and because I had the experience of being coached. And that was really meaningful for me. I went to their nationals. I went to like their tournaments on Sundays, which I used to play as a kid. Review their games, work with them, pass down what I had learned. And obviously put my own twist on things, and now I have the honor of doing that for all of you, reaching even more people, and coming up with new openings to contribute to the game that I love, that I have loved. I started playing so young, and that I have a very healthy relationship with now. So, as I think about where to put my bishop, check here. Queen e7, queen e5, e6. It's good. This was also interesting. Just knight f6 and castling quickly. c2, it's fine for them. Queen e7 is even possible. Here, takes knight f6, moves castles, bishop e2. I'm slightly better, but I think this is a little bit more ambitious. I think if you only enjoy winning, and you're probably doing it wrong. Like, I get it. Especially, believe me, I get it. Let's play knight f6 instead of queen e7, because I just want a castle. Better way to break the pin than queen e7. Check, I have knight c6. But the game is so beautiful. And it's such a good habit to have. You regardless of whether you're the world champion or not. You know, there's always going to be someone better than you. unless, you know, you are Magnus. In which case, you know, the machines are still better than you. But it's great to have a goal. It's great to aspire to be better and to want to win. I think what chess teaches you is how to deal with your losses. Because it is something you're going to care so much about. You should. What do you do with that? If you just ignore your failures, try to brush past them, or if you let them define you or get you down, you're not going to be a good chess player. And this is also not going to be good for you in life. But if you're able to confront your failures, like, it takes a lot of willpower after losing a chess game to go over that game. It takes a lot of willpower. Most people don't do it. To go over that game and be like, what did I do wrong? It's especially tough because there's no like tangible, like, oh, now I'm much better now. So my opponent plays a pretty desperate move. Where should I go? Here. Well, okay, b4 is not even a resource. I would take it. But believe me, that attitude of learning from your mistakes, which will happen because you are human, is tremendously beneficial. And then, of course, there's all the, like, it's just a great habit to have. There's so many worse habits you can have, especially, like, when picking up your phone. And, of course, there's all the creative thinking, cognitive, problem-solving, all those benefits that it gives you, absolutely. From a young age or from any age. So, that's more meaningful to me, contributing to the game, sharing the game that I love with other people, than any of my national championships, or even my current state championship. I'm really grateful to be able to do it. Like, I went into states. I'm the current New York State chess champion, for context. I went into states with the perspective that any result is okay. Even though this was probably my best opportunity to win states, it might be for a long time, that I was very aware of. Even though this has been a very long-standing goal of mine. I remember going to Albany over Labor Day weekend when I was 6 or 7, before I was even in the championship section, looking at all the names on the cup, Capablanca, Nakamura, etc. These people all, you know, so many great chess players have lived in New York. So I have takes here, and I see 2 and I 1, which is brutal, but this might even be more brutal, just keeping us all on the board. And those were guys whose games I grew up studying myself as a kid. It's like, oh, maybe one day my name will be on there. So it was a huge goal of mine. You know, you want it very badly. And any result was okay because the title didn't define me. No matter what, I would still have the important things in life, and being able to share this with other people, like I love to do with you guys, etc. You know, so we threaten here and here. And it also allowed, every time I felt the nerves, because, okay, at the end of the day, I did care a lot about it. Every time I felt this, it fueled me. It was like adrenaline, which is meant for your body to heighten senses. Which your body releases, you know, when in danger, because it's supposed to make you better, more focused. Better at whatever task is at hand, whether that's fighting a tiger for, like our ancestors did, or maybe running away from a tiger, or playing the chess game. So it really helped. It did. Just the whole mentality. I embraced the nerves. I didn't try to block them out. Anyway. Just the most beautiful game. It's art, you know, like saying that. Like right now, like I love that they can't defend f2. That I played bishop g4 to cut off queen e2, that they can't castle right now, they can't go king d1. So this will end the game. Like I remember looking at Fischer's game 6 against Spassky as a kid. Just how he completely tied him down, stopped all the counterplay. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Like, I don't even appreciate great art in a conventional sense. I really don't. I really try. I really try. Sometimes I just don't get it, particularly the modern stuff I'm talking about, right? Sometimes I just don't get it. But that, like, games like that, Capablanca's endgames, these things absolutely bring tears to my eyes. And so it's, I don't know. I have a deep appreciation for chess, not just winning, but as an academic, as someone who wants to contribute to that game with opening ideas of my own, with attacking ideas like, well, okay, this is actually defended. I didn't even realize. How are we going to get him? I have takes and rook e8. 85 is a good move indeed, because it takes and, well, this is mate. I was going to say forking the queen. Should be good. Anyway. Yeah, I disagree with this idea that, like, to be better at something and to go all out, like, you have to be, like, toxic about losing. It's unacceptable. No, I give 110% every time. And if I lose, okay, I'm upset. But I try to be better as a result. Same thing with anything in life that you're trying to work on. It's all about feedback, most important thing, and then adjusting. Anyway, deep stuff. How about another Scandi attempt? That was your problem, I guess, when I read your story on Chess Mood. I think you couldn't accept a defeat. Yeah, I appreciate you stalking me. You're right. You're right. As a kid, winning was extremely important to me. Winning was extremely, extremely important to me. And yeah, this was something that I discovered new meaning other than just being the national champion, I think, by teaching. And it was important that I found, and community, absolutely. I'd be very remiss not to say, I found I worked extremely hard on my high school and my collegiate chess clubs, left it in way better situations than I found it, you know, did a lot for the communities and a lot of people there to create a flourishing program. Stuff had nothing to do with my abilities on the board, really. I mean, it gave me credibility as a leader, I guess. But I think more so it did is leading. Okay, they think for a long. This is what the issue when you think for too long, you just forget. You just forget. I don't think there was any real defense in this position. I mean, the queen f2 and 83 is coming. That's checkmate. Or the knight's coming to c3. You know, if you go here, hits the queen, hits here. Right? Okay, I think this is We could have a look here, but I don't think there was really much of anything for them to do. Yeah, I had one mistake this whole game, and the one mistake was bishop c5 on the second move. The Bushcast Gambit. I think it was especially important that I found meaning still in chess. Like, okay, there were a lot of other things in life that I love. I love my maths. Let's go maths. But allow me to really love the game and to love competing. And I am the New York State Chess Champion, which I'm very proud of. Okay, so my opponent did not play the best line against the Bushcast Gambit. I mean, they were scared to take this pawn. Here at this point, white needs to go into this endgame. After takes, and knight e7. Here, this is already better for black. White has a few weaknesses here. Knight e7 actually parries bishop f4 very effectively by that pattern, defending c7. So, okay, anyway, in the game here, I mean, they put the queen on e2. And whenever the queen goes to e2 with a bishop here, I just like to try to keep it there, right? No queen trades or anything. Don't allow it to take or anything like that. Keep that queen there. Don't give it an easy way out. So I go check and just knight f6 here, just defending here. Take advantage of the fact that they're so far from castling. I want to put a rook on e8. My opponent got very scared here. So okay, here I was able to castle. He takes f3. This is brutal stuff. I mean, the rook's coming to e8, knight's coming to c6, which is going to attack all this stuff. I don't know how you get out, because even this, which is like your quickest way out, okay, this knight takes d4, or even quicker, like, yeah, knight c6, knight takes d4, hitting here and here. So, you know, it's all a disaster. White is down a pawn, if anything. Okay, at this moment they're equal, but no, they are down a pawn, and they're farther from castling, so this position just got very bad for them very quickly. So it was -6 kind of right away. I mean, you know your position's very good. If your king is safe, you're down no material, and you don't even need to take on f2 here. Bishop g4, even stronger. Trying to checkmate right away. So yeah, I mean, everybody comes out. My king was never a factor this whole game. My rooks come to the center files, and after knight d5, this is already quite lost. I mean, what is the best move here? It is rook to b3. Which I didn't even see. Okay, I mean, otherwise, rook f1, it's recommending, but yeah, after knight c3, you do lose very quick. So, yeah, just nice and easy stuff. Castling the king, keeping their king in the middle, and then getting their king when it is in the middle. Have I played Magnus? Yes! I have this one game against Magnus entitled Tuesday. If you can Google that video. It's actually really, really funny. It's actually really funny because he was... Well, I won't spoil it. I won't spoil it. You just Google, like, William Grafe Magnus. Don't find my video. What do you guys want me to play? I'll play e4. What is up, everybody? c5. Should... Let's play this, like, a3 move that I've seen a few times. Something tricky. It's actually a good move. Now after b4, you don't need to react to it. You don't need to react. You can just let me take it, and there's really nothing to accomplish. For that reason, I won't even play b4. We'll do something else. Let's play f4. What I want is to put my bishop here. I can make use of this. You know, play bishop g4 is kind of an annoying move, isn't it? I want them to commit either e6 or g6, but they won't. Should just come directly here. Okay, let's go here. Now bishop g4, okay, bishop b5. I mean, I had that last turn, also. Yeah, I mean, a3, okay, not the most useful move, so we just went into a Grand Prix anyway. I'll go here. I don't want, like, this could be annoying. Black should probably make sure they can recapture not by pawn. what's up? I'm now just looking at the Twitch chat. I just joined the Rui Lopez tournament. Won 3 out of 4 games. Got a winning position. Nice. G7. Okay, I'll take this opportunity to capture. My pawn on A3 is now actively, I would want it on A2. Right, to make kind of this solid light square setup. It's okay. Alright, you know what? We're going to put it on A4. Stopping A4 for them, which is what they wanted. Here I wanted B3. The question is, do I lose something? I played Queen E2 because I wanted to stop C4. But I wasn't ready yet because of this. Because I had wasted this tempo. If I had spent that tempo with Bishop D2, then I would be able to play it. But there was knight takes E4. If pawn takes, I lose this knight. If knight takes, I lose the rook whole. Oh, I had a request for a Yang Yan. My apologies. I'll play it next time. Comment from Ugu. Okay, Parts with the subscription on YouTube. Thank you so much. Really appreciate those. B3, C4, check. Well, there's still the same issue. We've not addressed this. I want... Okay, I need just like King H1. This was a good move because I actually wanted to move this, but there's a problem here. C4 didn't even do anything. I had this as a parry. No, I didn't, because... Well, if I played Rook B1, C4, Bishop E3, then I'm good, I think, unless there's this. Regardless, I need here to go here to finally make things solid against C4 forever. And then it would free my bishop. And then I would be able to get cracking with F5. That's the goal. If they play D5, okay, I'm just going to shut that down. So I think we're good. And then I would be able to play B3 effortlessly. Mr. Gambit Man, just want to say thank you. You really are the best out there. LC0 Gambit, I heard from you, is my favorite opening. Awesome. Shame I get it so rarely on board as a 2100 rated online player. No worries. If you find the Gambit Chat repertoire on the link tree, which is linked here on my YouTube or on my Twitch, linktree/wgrafe, you can play a Gambit Chat approved opening against any line. Here, it takes B2. Rook B1. Oh, we got him. Queen C2, 81. Yeah? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Very good. My opponent is not a bad player at all for 1566. Potentially, it's just a rapid rating? No, there's 1270 Blitz. Okay. William's getting slow. I don't know what to tell you. I could have played F8 instead of Queen. I don't know what you mean exactly. But this is the setup I was going for. Doubled the C-pawns, and then prevented them from ever undoubling them. Bishop on D2 is actually quite annoying against this A5 pawn. Kind of ties you down a little bit. Now we have a dark square bishop and light square pawns. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And now we're going to look towards attacking. Okay, let's play this. While we eat our salad and think about what to do. Get out of the way. Activate our last piece. I want F5. Potentially I could have played it last turn without consequence, but black really has nothing they can do to me. Without C4 was really their only break in the position. But F5, yeah, does it give them the square? Not really. Like, we just trade and I proceed with my stuff. My queen wants to be there. She had to go to F2 earlier to stop C4. But that was a successful mission. That is now completed, as I got the pawn to B3. What tournament am I in? I'm just in the Elite Chess Rapid Arena. Just in the Elite Chess Rapid Arena. Do I still play the Budapest line I made a video on? Yes. I just also play... We have 2 gambits now against d4, knight f6, c4. We have that fancy Budapest line with here f6 and queen takes f6. That you can find as the Budapest Grafe on my link tree. The other one we have is the Grafe Mango. So, the latter one is newer, so I play it more. But I play both. I'd recommend both. It's up to you. We've just got so many gambits at this point that we've got to cover the same things. But yes, like everything I put out, with the exception of the dummy gambit, I absolutely recommend it. This is interesting. It inspires me to play queen to f2. c4 now, okay, forces a queen trade, but just loses a pawn hole. So, okay, I could play f5. My queen is just in hot water, so let's proceed. Or queen h4, queen d8, queen h3. I'll just play f5. No reason why to delay anymore. So, we got in our big breakthrough. Rook's well supported. e6 didn't really matter. Takes e takes, and my rook, which came here while I was eating my salad, looks like a genius. And next steps include queen h4, and bishop h6 potentially, or just knight g5 directly. But everybody's solid over here. We shut down their queenside play. Alright, we've done a good job today on stream of just shutting down my opponent's play on any other part of the board, and then just able to solely focus on where I am attacking them. My opponent never broke through here, right? Imagine if they traded and the bishop was hitting here and the queen was attacking everything and this knight was loose. I would never be able to just like focus on like boom and boom, 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 right? Even now, I still don't have a direct threat in this position, but you can sense how juicy this is becoming because the files that I've opened have been perfect for my rooks. The only pawns that have been traded in this game, right? They weren't able to use this file for me. Okay, so now they're trying to come back this way. I have a few good ideas here. Bishop g5, knight moves, and then even f6 potentially. Although this is maybe not what you really were wanting to do. The other idea is like this. Okay, there's actually a lot of good moves. But knight e4 I think is the most interesting because it wasn't using this knight. It forces a trade of... There's only 2 defenders of their king, but they're both very important. I'm going to play pawn takes e4, as much as that might be to this rook's chagrin. It prevents me from just losing this pawn. I don't think you want to do that. And now, like, without the knight there, it gives me a lot of possibilities. I didn't lose any attacking resources, because the knight wasn't doing anything. c4 is way too slow. I already stepped off this diagonal. King h1, very useful move anytime you move that f-pawn. You don't want to be bothered along there. Like, for example, like knight g5 could really just end the game. Coupled with f takes g6 and moving that h-pawn, like, there could just be brutal stuff. I'm not sure if this was the absolute best way to play. But we've got, like, a lot of, like, I can win on the light squares, like I said. I can also win on the dark squares if I make that trade and then, like, f6 check and queen h6. Slipping right into g7. Yeah, wing gambit. I tried to play wing gambit. On YouTube, my screen is oriented towards mobile users. I know. It is. That was actually on purpose, believe it or not. G5 is a good defensive resource because they want f6 and then maybe g5. Right, so okay, while the position is bad, it's not losing immediately or anything. Knight g5, h6, fg6, fg6, rook f8. It's also not clear how that would win immediately. Okay, what we're going to do is this. Any queen moves, I have f6, right? So they should play f6 themselves. And then before they're able to, like, straighten out with g5, what I want is to take it. All right, obviously that's mate. So they should recapture. Now, could I have done better out of all this? Maybe. Like, do I still want to trade off for that bishop? It kind of sucks. Alright, instead what we're going to do is we're just going to pull back. Yeah, there's no way they have this. Takes, knight takes. They trade f1, but they get mate on h7 without access to the f file. Yeah, if they don't have that, then they continue to have problems here and here. Right, so they survived. I think some clever defenses there. But a lot of weaknesses still in their position. Although I've been spending a lot of time. Oh, because I, berserked. So, okay. We didn't win, but we didn't go crazy with sacrifices. And so we're just gonna pick off this d6 pawn. Oh, wow. e5, should be very strong. Yeah? No, I mean, what are you doing? You can't step right in here. I mean, rook d1 was winning maybe more simply, just picking off d6 with no defense. But, no, absolutely not. I have bishop takes or knight takes. Here I have bishop g5 check if takes, winning the queen. Otherwise, at minimum, I'll take this. The rook was also hanging in every line. I understand they wanted, here I can take the rook, but I'll just do this. I understand they wanted, like, rook h8, but, okay, you can't just step into this. And, yeah, I mean, they had to just hang tight, but it was still losing. Like, I was just going to pick off this d6 pawn and g6 pawn. Alright, let's play quickly here. We have 13 seconds on our clock. But we are a queen up for a bishop. In fact, I might even flag them at this point. I don't know, we play bishop f5. We can hang on a few moves. Bishop f5, yeah, they get 2 pieces for the queen. No. In fact, I should have taken with the bishop. I shouldn't have even given them the rook for the queen. I should have taken with the bishop. Here, rook f1 is also good. A lot of things are good. Let's go here and queen f6. Probably the most effective. I mean, a lot of good options. Let's go takes. Let's go check. This is mate. King d8. It's probably worse. Okay, this is mate. Okay, good game. Yeah, I mean, interesting one. I think another instructive point here. Okay, it's like equal stuff, but that we shut down their counterplay completely, right? We were able to achieve this setup, and you can see once I was... Yeah, they had to, like, sacrifice a pawn. It was their last chance to play in this game here in d5, activating the bishop, activating maybe some ideas here. Yeah, you gotta strike back against me, because don't let me lock up your counterplay. I think is the lesson of this stream. Because once I was able to achieve this, I played queen e2, I got in b3, bishop d2, right? I got on this move, bishop d2, right? Okay, due to the tactical point that here you lose your queen, but there is this, and you're okay. Interesting. You got 3 pawns for it. So, wow, but that is hard to see. That is hard to see. I don't know. So either you need to see a lot that bishop takes d3 is good, or you need to see very little that after queen takes b2, there's nothing even that traps your queen. If you see a medium amount, then you'll say no, because of knight e1 there trapping the queen. So yeah, b3 here. I mean, just don't let me lock it up. Like, I had this light square pawns, beautiful stuff. No pawn breaks here. You have nothing on the queen side. d5, I can just answer with e5. And so it just gives me the opportunity to play with f5, come across, and win this game. And that's exactly what happened. And it's happened a few times in this arena that I was able to first concentrate on making sure you had nothing, and then getting you some resources here. So yeah, stronger here. It's +4. I mean, look, as you can see, it's not a specific +4. There's a lot of good moves. Knight g5 and bishop g5 both effective. Knight g5 to threaten the light squares. Bishop, right, okay, very simple idea, trying to take f6 to try and get h7. But okay, you have to see that this is not good. g4 and you win. Bishop moves and take the knight, right? So knight moves and take the king. Okay, well, I made this trade here. We just took this sort of advantage. G5, yeah, was not possible. Takes here, and mate is coming. So, yeah, I mean, okay, we just worked with these weaknesses. Now D6 is hanging, G6 is hanging. So this was kind of just my next point here. Okay, I didn't get the king, but I was going to get the pawns. King F7, I mean, okay, now there's just a number of moves that win. Knight G5 was working, Queen H7 was working. Queen H7 looks like you should get trapped immediately. That looks like you're begging for what was the only point of King F7. But, okay, this just wins the game here. After check, and then you're just crashing through. So, no, it's not even close to being close to working. E5, among other things, won the game. And we crashed through. I mean, that's just exactly where my rooks were. So, nice one there. Yeah, I mean, I like the Grand Prix setup in general. You know, well, it's even better with the bishop there, but I took c6, which is kind of their main source of counterplay when the knight can come to d4 and everything. But the next idea is after that, especially if the bishop's there, you can force h takes g6 if you have that pin. Otherwise, yeah, queen e1, queen h4. I mean, you know from a number of other lines that I like this maneuver a lot to put that queen on h4 and looking at ideas like here and here. So yeah, big fan of the Grand Prix, big fan of cutting off opponent's counterplay. My opponent played well that game. I had a very defensive play in this game. Could you play an aggressive game next? Okay, fine. That's what you call defensive. Fine. I guess I was a little more measured. That I took away their counterplay first and such. Okay. Okay. I hear you. I hear the chirping. Alright. I'm nothing if not a showman. I will give y'all what you want. I will give y'all what you want. Can you play me? Yeah, sure. Challenge me. You must be a subscriber on YouTube first. Challenge me here on Leechess. After this game. Ooh. I have to berserk back. Alright, what do y'all want me to play? What do y'all want me to play? Let's play a Grave Banco Gambit. Egyptian. So, the idea here is that we have tricked them with this move order to play a bad version of the Banco. Knight c3 is an interesting move. What we're going to go with is bring that queen out. Will I play a hippo? Okay, sure. Next time. Alright, wait, Gambit Glass is on. I heard the chirping. That last game wasn't aggressive enough. It wasn't aggressive enough. Alright. We're still gonna have to get our king safe. We're still gonna have to make that happen. This is an interesting idea. They are far from getting their king safe because Castle's Long is not really on the table for them. This is all open. Queen is defending a2 technically. This is interesting because this one is not covered on my channel. I could play an well, no. Bishop b7. I mean, I have to defend the bishop again before I can move the knight wherever I want it to. Bishop f6 is the other option, which offers another pawn. I have not covered this on my channel. Bishop a6 I could play. Okay, we can trade some stuff. Bishop 6. It's here. Okay. Here, e3, bishop e7. Just make a move it, and this bishop looks really smart there, actually. The other option is like here, allowing takes, and then fishing for that rook. Alright, you know what? We are gonna do this. Bishop on c3 is spicy. Okay, they just went way out the way. Now if I play d5. Alright, so they didn't want those lines. e3, d4. takes d4. cd4. Knight d4. I want to get him. Okay, this is going to be my main resource in the position, though. So I have to do this. So e3. If I start with rook e8, after bishop e2, d4 takes. Well, this is a little more clear, right? Knight d4. Knight d4. Okay, all right, like I have g2 at the end of that line. I mean, it's also interesting to just go here, right, which really prepares d4. If you take it, queen takes f6, you have problems here. I mean, I should probably just play this. Takes and just figure it out, right? I mean, bishop f6. Because I don't actually have it figured out. Ah, wait, now I do. I think. Okay, the trick is that if I ever get the rook to e8 and bishop to a6 against bishop e2, I just win right away, right? So for that reason, we're just going to start with bishop f6. Now if something like d5 or dc5, I have check, bishop e2, bishop a6 resigns. So you have to start with bishop e2, but now I have cd4, and I have it defended enough times. We're not even making trades here, and queen takes d4 and bishop takes g2. No, no, no. You're not escaping. I'm playing d3. Get right back over there to f1. No, they had nothing here, right? That was the point. The bishop has no squares other than back to d2 off of its excellent post. We've driven it away. Oh, how about this? This was actually very nicely handled by Mr. William. Is this aggressive enough for you? Is it aggressive enough for you? Now I can just take here, take here. No, we got him now. We got him now, even though my opponent was actually pretty good. So, alright. Alright, gotta be precise. Time is running low. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go... No, because I don't want you to... Okay. Precision, precision, precision. First, we take b2. I'm not encouraging bishop e3 and any option to take here. Now I go check. Even though it looks like I'm losing something. Bishop e3, only option. Now I pull back to c3. Good. Now I go queen h4, which was interesting. No, I take here. Ooh, baby, we got everybody cooking. We got everybody cooking. It is a cookout around white's king. Now I can take d2 and take your queen if I want it. Do I want even more? I mean, I can waltz right in there. Probably. But yes, I do want even more. I am going to go here. And take d2 in even more dominant fashion. Okay, 12 seconds? That's not a lot of seconds. Yeah, we got him. Oh, wait, I had a mate. No, I didn't. You could block on b1. I'll show you what I mean after. This is a fun one. This is a fun one. Takes. Rook e3. Don't get mated on the back rank. I have the knight sticking around. d2 is probably best. Queen d2, no, rook e3. Rook e3. Yeah? Yeah, rook e3. No, that actually halted the mate. Here is good bet. If they block, they're mated immediately. Otherwise, you have to give your rook. Okay, now this is simple. There we go. There we go. Nice game, nice game, nice game, nice game. They said, can you play even more aggressive? I said, yes. Let me sacrifice everything and go get them. How was it? How was it? Oh my goodness. I was feeling great about myself. Fortunately, we've made a few boo-boos, but 94% accuracy. Okay, not bad. All right. Let's have a look. D4, knight of 6, C4, A6. I will actually talk about the opening last. I will talk about why we played this last, because I want to get to the game first, actually. But so I'll talk about this and why this is so tricky at the end. Let's just talk about this position. So they play knight c3 back, and we make this big trade, drawing their queen out. We are down a pawn. We've given A and B for C, but they are behind in development, and their king can't go this way because of the open files here. So we play knight c6 to not lose our rook. Okay, they do some development, bishop e7, and now normal stuff here is e3, here, and this is what's on my channel, bishop a6, which is actually a nasty move, because it stops castling, you'll lose this. The queen is not home. So if you take here, and I go check, and now I go here, with your queen not home to go queen e2 or anything, you cannot castle, and it's actually really brutal. My bishop will come to f6, my pieces will come to, nice squares to keep attacking you, and your king is forever stuck in the middle, because you really don't want to go that way. And so I took this diagonal. This is what's covered in the Graf Banco video on my channel. My opponent did something spicy. They played bishop to d2, and so after castling, they put it on c3, which is a great square for the bishop. It points towards my king. It defends b2, and it keeps my knight out of d4 and b4, and potentially c2 at the other end. Downside is, it took them a few moves to get there, and they still need to escape, right? So I play your bishop to b7, and queen d1, which is actually a big error, even though they played it very quickly, and it's pretty logical. So they should just play e3, daring me to go knight d4, which attacks the queen, takes here, right? So presumably this isn't enough. Presumably they can just pick off my knight, like something like bishop c4, or bishop anywhere. Even though a2 is hanging, they just have too much play. I mean, like, now they have the initiative. Like, they're gonna start giving me some mate threats in this direction. So, yeah, I mean, it would be a good dare. Yeah, so e3 I probably would have chosen to go queen c7, and only now should you move your queen once I spent a tempo going here, right? Queen b6 normally an effective move, like targeting b2 and such, but, it doesn't really do anything otherwise. Queen c7 now sets up some knight move, like here knight d4 would be brutal, with the bishop solidly defended, the queen under attack, and knight c2, and such as big threats. So here they should get out the way, so that, I don't have a brutal discovery where the knight can just go wherever it wants. But okay, I mean, there's still fun ideas of striking while the iron is hot. Before the king is able to escape to safety, we must blow up in the middle of the board. So that's probably what would have happened, maybe. Instead, they play queen d1, which invites me to just play d5 right away. And so now after e3, right, it looks like their position is solid. They have d4 covered 1, 2, 3, 4 times. That's more times than I have actually defended, which is 3. So I would lose if we just made a big trade right there. But if I also just are like la di da di da, right? You can't do that. What we sacrificed a pawn for is time, is development, and it's these couple moves right here that make you say, how can I prevent my opponent's next couple moves from being bishop e2 and castles? Right? If their king gets there, okay, it's safe over there. It's not safe right there. We need to strike now. And so this was the important sequence here. d4. He takes d4. Okay, apparently rook e8 was actually a slightly more precise move order than what I did. Yeah, but yeah, what I was saying before, right, we can't just trade here. We can't just trade. I mean, even now, this is actually still at minimum equal, because like g2 and such is hanging if they bring out their bishop. I like what I did here with bishop f6. Apparently the resource was this. Takes, check, bishop e2, bishop a6, and then what? Oh, they can take... Rook is pinned. Takes an h1. I didn't see an h1. I actually didn't see an h1 at all as a way to hang on to that piece. Okay. Better was leading with rook e8. So that if bishop e2 takes, knight takes, knight takes, queen takes. This is losing for them. I didn't realize that this would lose. The point is that I go check and pin either that bishop or the other one. Right where it is. Yeah, I mean, like, when I've got all these files and all these diagonals cooking onto their king, it's going to work out somehow. It's going to work out one way or another. You just got to go for it. And so d4, of just not, like, shouldn't even have spent so much time on this, just blowing it open right where their king is. Like, yeah, go for it. It'll, like, these lines will work out one way or another. Bishop f6, that's exactly what happened. I mean, they're trying. Like, they play bishop e2 here, trying to play castles next turn, realizing that if they do nothing, like for example, like d5, I don't know, rook e8, and bishop a6 is really brutal, right? So okay, obviously you can't castle here, you have to play like knight g1. But otherwise, so bishop e2, but this was the big idea that I had, which is c takes d4. Now I have it defended enough times, we're not even talking about any lines to calculate, about trading and taking on g2. It's defended as many times as it's attacked, they must move the bishop there, and now d3 is just so brutal. It's just such a brutal move, because you don't have d3 defended, you have to play bishop f1, now you're so far from castling, there's so many moves that win, you know, knight coming to c2 among many other ideas. I mean, this is the most effective move, actually, because it takes, and you have no way to block it. Bishop e3 was your only resource. And so this gets even worse. In the game, I chose one of the other winning options, which was takes, rook b1, check, bishop e3, and now pulling back to c3. So I only invite bishop e3, which actually, you know, does target d3, which could allow them to escape. I only invite that after taking b2, where I know I have this check, which resets them in terms of, you know, towards taking d3. And now I'm just continuing to bring in all the pieces. Rook takes a2. I can give that. Okay, I actually had a checkmate sequence, which was takes, check, and mate. Sick. Or this is mate. You can't block with either. They're both pinned by both the rooks. So that would have been actually very nice. Okay, in the game, I go here, which blunders because it's not checkmate. But okay, we just win the queen. I mean, there's nothing I can do here. And we just take all the stuffs. And wait. Okay, it's a blunder, but only because it goes from mate in 3 to mate in 11, because I missed queen d2. I was like, did I miss back rank mate? No. Okay. Good game here. So let's talk about the Graf Benko Gambit and why this is effective. A little intro to the full repertoire video that I will link. Is that if you just play the Benko Gambit, we're talking about this position. And knight c3 is considered to be like not one of the best moves here. Knight c3 and knight takes b5. Like if you want to play against this, better moves are like e3, defending with the bishop, rather than make your knight move a bunch of times into an offside square. b6, if you just want to decline it, is actually kind of playable. Or pawn takes a6, the main line. In which case, you know, okay, you have to know some stuff. But b5, I mean, it's one of the most. It's probably the gambit that's a true gambit, not like a queen's gambit, but like truly sacrificing a pawn that's actually played at a very high level consistently. So, very common stuff. But how can we get what we want? Because if we play a6 in this position, right, trying to go knight c3, okay, then trade. If we play a6 here, they actually have a4, just shutting that down completely. Because a takes b5 always has now a pin onto your rook. But what if we played a6 here? Right, so we touch on all, in the original video, we touch on all the other options white has, other than like knight c3 and knight takes b5, like e3, knight f3, all these other moves. Here, white has some other options, again, like e3 or taking back, knight f3 and taking back. It's actually not nearly as good. D takes c5, which is an option now. But the point is here after a6, b5, we're trying to pester this knight, and then, you know, really e6, which is also my own twist on the Benko, because mainline Benko theory here would have you just go d6 and bishop to g7, which is also perfectly playable. But e6 is a very interesting option because there's a lot of ways white can go wrong. A, the way they played in the game, which is playable, but you have to be extremely careful. And then d6, which loses actually very quickly to queen to a5 check. Hitting the knight is not defended, so it has to come back. And after knight to e4, hitting it here, what we have is this gorgeous move, rook a6, again taking advantage of the fact that this bishop is blocked in, and rook takes d6, and black is in serious business here, not even down a pawn, but with an excellent bishop pair, great development advantage, and huge pawn mass in the center that will just flow right down the middle of the board. Speaking of that, what can also happen after d takes e6 is we play f takes e6, and again, if white is just kind of like retreating these pieces, we can still like walk right over them and force this knight to move like for like the 6th time this game. It's like got to be the majority of their moves. Other things we have is like knight c6, e5, e4. All this is good stuff and covered in the video. Another way, I think this is the most common move in this position, is knight. Well, bishop f4 is not a good move either, even though that also looks good, because queen a5 check, again, forces you right back home, where we can take advantage of that pinned piece. Knight to d6 check looks very appealing. It's a blunder because of knight e4 hits the queen, defends this pawn. Queen e5 looks great because it hits all these things. You lose. Queen a5 check, there's no bishop to d2. The queen needs to be there to at least support that and not allow that to be checkmate. Instead, the king needs to go to d1, after which knight takes f2 ends the game. So, like, the queen should come back to d3 or something to support bishop to d2, but we just need to play d5 castles. Here, there's more than enough competition here with the rook attacking f2. Knight can waltz right into b4, hitting the queen, bishop a6. This is really, really nice stuff. White has 0 development. The only thing that's out is their queen, which is a prime target. So lots of ways for white to go wrong. This is a great way to play against all d4, c4s, is playing a6. video will be linked below. Subscribe. This is an interesting, because this is brand new. We're all pioneering theory in this. You know, my opponent played this bishop c3 idea, which I had never seen before. And that's why I play this stuff on my channel. It's why you guys play this stuff on my channel. And post it in like the share games channel and everything, and opening ideas in the Discord. As we trailblaze brand new theory in chess. Appreciate y'all. Be a Gambit Chad. Don the Gambit glasses. Play the Graf Banco Gambit. Subscribe. Thank you to... Oh, I cannot pronounce this name. It is in Cyrillic characters. I see M-O-H-C-T-P. I'm definitely not even saying those characters correctly. But I appreciate the subscription on YouTube. I'll shout out any of y'all who subscribe on YouTube. What am I eating? Sweet green. What'd I get? Spinach, quinoa, tofu, apples, chickpeas. It's health season. It's been health season. We're training for the Chessboxing World Championships. Yeah, challenge me. Here. Challenge me. What would be even better, what I would love, is if you had something prepped. That would be awesome. Okay, challenge me. I'm W Graf. Do I take students? Yes. Message me on Discord. I have a few availabilities. You can go to the link tree that's linked right there. There, let me say what I've been talking about. Here, linktr.ee/wgraf. It's right there on YouTube. You have, first of all, the whole Gambit repertoire here. You want to know what to play. It's all linked right there. Sends you to the full repertoire video in each thing. Go to the Discord. Join the Discord. Message me. I'm W Graf. Appreciate you all. Just lost a +5 position. Sorry to hear. Yeah, W Graf. Yeah. That's me. I mean, I'm the admin of this Discord user. You can't miss it. But yeah, go to this link tree, guys, because this is where the whole repertoire is. All of the secret sauce is right here. You want to know what to play against the Caro. You want to know what to play against the London. Play a Gambit that is awesome, that they have never seen before, that has great results, that has no easy way out of it. Right? What sucks is, like, you learn the one opening, too, and then, like, maybe you never get it. First of all, the Discord server is for that. The Find Games channel is great. You just ask someone to play something, and they will. With your fellow Gambit Chads. But second of all, there's something here against everything, so I never have that issue. I play the Gambit Chad stuff no matter what they play. Do I have a video on the abstinence Gambit? No. But I do have, first of all, I accept here. Make sure to mute my stream. Don't stream snipe me. Good luck. But I've played it, and I have some YouTube videos where I've played it. F4, facing King's Gambit. It's the link tree, so just click on my YouTube channel. You're right there. It's the first link. It's the first link. linktr.ee/wgraf. My opponent is actually well prepared for this. I'm actually not sure what to play here. I will play CD5. Yeah, I feel like they won't be playing DC6. I have a couple interesting ideas here. I mean, my bishop wants to go here, right? Okay, let's go C5. No, but this is something I want to get back to. It won't be weekly, but it will be sometimes. Because I really love all your games, but then I was just kind of like overwhelmed with other requests, and then I kind of did the opposite of what I should do. But it was a great series. I loved all your games. And I loved the trailblazing stuff. So it's been something I've been meaning to get back to. And I appreciate you calling me out for not doing that. Alright, well, we're down a pawn here. But we have some interesting comp, which is the fact they've played queen e2, and potentially I can keep them away from castling. Bishop c5, c3, d4. Right? Because I don't want to allow them to play d4. Let's play bishop g4. Seems annoying. My next move would be knight d4. Right? So the queen's on e2, which is stupid. They need to adjust that. I'm going to play c3. Here I'll probably just play d4. I mean, I could take it, which is compelling. Right? So if they play d4 themselves, then all is good. Right? Like if I just do something, then I'm just much worse. So my options are d4, or takes, queen takes f3, probably, because g takes, I have check. Knight e5, and then they go here, I would need to go queen 7, so there's d4, okay, it just feels like a lame way to get my pawn back. So we're going to play a little bit more aggressive, we're going to play d4 ourselves. So now c3 looks a little stupid. We need to play around this pawn a little bit with something like d3 to try to get this development out. Of course, this trade would be a disaster for them. So this was a very effective move, I don't even know why I thought about it. Queen e4, good move. Good move, making use of that square that my pawn was controlling before, and asking me some questions about this bishop. So I'm probably taking this knight, if only to preserve a tempo. So queen takes f3. I mean, it gives me the option to take here. I'm not sure if I'm going to take that option. I probably will. Other choice would be pawn takes, which is playable because the queen is in the middle of the board and thus controlling h4 and some other things. Kind of annoyingly. I can arrange this check. I can also try to arrange a long castle. I think the latter is what I'm going to go with. If I play queen c7, I think bishop to b5 at any point is annoying. What I'm gonna do then is, I mean, like I could do this. It just takes a long time. Okay, they can play knight a3 and hit me, but it's fine. All I want to do is long castle. Queen b6 is also effective because I'm also looking at ideas of bishop c5 and seeking in there. I think if I were white, I might play bishop h3 against my idea. But I'll just have to switch ideas. Right now, the only safe haven for their king is long, and it's a number of moves to get there. I may have just helped them, like knight a3, knight c4 comes with tempo. But, okay, knight a3, I can also just take it. Yeah, I'll just take it. Pawn takes a3. Long castle. Wow, a FIDE master. Appreciate it. Wow. A commenting viewer. We've got here is thing is there's just b4. Pawn takes c3. I might have to do this at the right moment, is the thing. That is the thing. Alright, let's play bishop c5. So, I mean, the check on f2 is probably not super effective. So we're just going to have to arrange a castle, which is fine. Do they want to play b4? Maybe. I will just come back and just be like, okay, now you're not castling kingside, queenside either. I'll try to arrange an h6 and castling. So, okay, they're striking, which is very bold because that's where their king is. So, like, I don't even want to say no to this pawn trade. I kind of want to say yes. Here takes, king takes, queen e6, and I'll just come back king f8. You know what? I'm just going to do that. I'm not even going to think about other options. Way too bold. I don't think they have enough pieces to make this happen. This is very, very bold. So they can give this one check, but now I just step back. I mean, king g6 is even compelling, but it's just to keep these rooks coordinated, but okay, that's kind of quite dangerous. It might have been worse than dangerous. I might have just got mated immediately. But now I think they've made their king way more unsafe than they've made mine. All right, we're giving this check without even thinking. Yeah, so now they're like, okay, I want to trade queens. No, thank you. What are we going to do? Probably queen a6? And slide in here. Yep. Yeah, I mean, they are lacking development big time. It is a problemo. c4, I mean, I could go here just because I can. Because queen e2 is so strong. But doesn't actually do anything. What is the next idea? It's knight a5, isn't it? Oh, I didn't even see this. Okay, should I play d3? Yes, maybe. Maybe so. c4. Bishop f2. Trying to go rook e1. No, c4. Knight d4. Queen d3. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Bishop f2. Bishop here takes. D4. No. What do we got? Knight d4. Okay, wait. This is strong. Takes d3, right? Forced. I was going to just go queen e6. I mean, I can continue to just kind of like go here and improve my pieces. There's a lot of logic to that, unless queen e6 wins right away. Queen e3, and then I just move it, right? It's okay, I want that. Bishop e2, impossible. Bishop g2. Are they hanging on for dear life? Potentially. Maybe I just need to play king f7 to just add some more guys into the game. This maneuver is strong as well. So is this maneuver kind of overwhelmed by the options right now? No, this is best. Yeah. Takes, bishop 3, and it takes f1. No. Wait, maybe? It takes bishop f3. It takes rook f1. What was I thinking in that position? I have bishop e3. Oh, this is so nice. Wait. Oh, yes, I have queen e1. I have queen e1. They have to take it. The rook, which was otherwise defending, checkmate on f2. Look at these knights. Check. And the knight guarding here and here because they lack development for the king to go away. Yes, knight g4. Nice move. Because if they take it, queen takes g4 gets them. And otherwise, yeah, how do you defend here and here? Rook f1, I can sacrifice the queen. And knight to f2. Checkmate. Let's go. Let's go. They actually had here, so they did, this wasn't a good move. They had takes and bishop f3, right? Because my king was poorly positioned. I was thinking about like this. Because if de3, oh, I'm still pinned. So, okay, I go check, takes, just to free my knight. And then it's saying just take this draw. Wow. Okay, but we went for it. Worked out. Hello, thanks so much for the game. Wait, let me... G. This was an interesting one. This was a fun one. So they played a King's Gambit. And this is what I like against the King's Gambit. No, you're good. You're good. That was a great game. Let's review that game. Thanks so much for the game. You played well. I like this. I like this a lot. This move can be played because of here, and I win the rook. Here, there's bishop c5. Or knight c6 first, but the point is the bishop comes to c5, and it's extremely effective down this diagonal. Black here has a lot of compensation, whether they recapture on b7 or on c6. You know, they just castle really quickly. This bishop's going to be very, very strong, and lots of threats on f2. With the knight coming there, or the queen coming there, or something, White's king is stuck in the center, like it was this game. So queen e2, which is the best move, and so it's very tricky to figure out what to do then, because, like, okay, my bishop's coming to c5. It's going to be very effective. It's a King's Gambit, counter Gambit. So, huge fan of this. The Nimzovich Gambit, or the Pickler Gambit. This is what I like to play. Out gambiting the gambiter. Queen e2, cd5. Right, so just allowing that pawn to be captured. And now the big battle is over whether white can play d4. If they play d4, then I don't have this diagonal, right? And say c3 as well. Then they have a solid pawn chain and a very solid extra pawn. They have this well defended, and without the diagonal, they should be able to take time even to arrange to castle without any problems here. So I mustn't allow that to happen. So knight c6 controls d4, bishop g4 also in the fight for this square. c3 makes a lot of sense. Trying to play d4 next turn, also knight d4 was a very effective threat, but I am now just playing d4, which is a very frustrating move. To White's credit, they play very well. d4 has a drawback, which is this nice move, queen to e4. So the queen, which was in the way of the bishop, now steps into a very nice square in the center of the board where she can't be attacked, right? Queen on a square in the center of the board where she can't be attacked. That's huge. That's like the best possible piece, right? She's now hitting in like so many different directions, and she can't be hit, right? So it's like the important nuance between like this position where, you know, White just did something stupid. Queen takes d4. Okay, now I just have I can just develop with tempo. Versus this position, like imagine this, but okay, the knights are gone, and so how do you hit this queen? Okay, you have to play this very weakening move, which is not good. No, Black has played poorly here. This queen is now doing lots of good things, including preventing the development of this bishop, including if the knight has no squares, right? So it's a big difference between these knights being on the board versus not on the board, right? Queen is actually good on d4 if there's no knight to hit her. In the game, right, so queen e4, very nice square. So, okay, take on f3 and pawn takes f3. Nice move. You can play it. Their queen controls h4, so you don't even need that. Before you needed a parry for queen h4, check the pawn. But now it can go to f3. White's issue is that untangling their position becomes difficult, right? So castles, do you really want to do it? Maybe if you can get all the way to h1. Otherwise, long castles, you're very far from doing that. c3 now looks dumb if you can't achieve d4. But it did make me play d4 in turn, which allowed you to play queen e4. And so now the bishop also wants to come to b5. Not obvious where I'm castling. I want to castle really quickly right now to get you. So I want my rook here, and I want my other rook here, and then getting that king in the middle before it took the time to escape. So queen b6 I played because of a couple of reasons. Number one, I want to castle long. Number two, I didn't want bishop b5, putting pressure here and trading off for my knight, which is very good, which is stopping c takes d4. Number three, castles and king h1 is a quick way out for white, and I want to control against that. So queen to b6 is what I chose for those reasons, but bishop to h3 was actually a nice move, so the bishop does not develop this way, it develops this way, and stops long castling in its tracks. So, okay, my only option now is short castling, and I play bishop c5, which is an error. Best was rook to d8, which is, okay, it's still a nice square for the rook, but I want my king to be out of the way of this so that, you know, I can make the craziness start to happen on the e line. Bishop to c5, the best move here was b4. White needs to accept that they don't really have any safe havens for their king, but they can just play actively. So now knight a3, they can play without issue of that knight hanging. I was going to just kind of play knight h6, but now, okay, they have some very good squares. Okay, knight d6 check can be annoying, b5 can be annoying. No, white is actually kind of playing with the initiative a little bit. I want castles and to make these trades and to get them. It's funny, even though, it's tough to play. It's tough to play like this when your king has no safety spot, but, I mean, the engine is able to do it much more than we are. e6 I absolutely get. Like, it looks really nice. Like, it looks like, oh wow, this pawn trade's going to happen and the bishop and queen are going to pour in. The issue for white is that makes their own king much more unsafe than it makes mine with this E-line opening. And it's really the move that lost them the game after playing very well, because they have no other pieces to follow it up. Like, yeah, if we're talking about the other position, right, with the knight on c4, with like the rook on g1, then yes, there could be a lot of resources here that are going to get me. But here, I'm very happy to actually just go here and allow queen e6 and king to f8. There's no follow-up in this position. You just gave me the one check with the queen and the bishop, and I'm able to defend enough sufficiently. You don't want to castle long here because just taking and just kills you. And the rook is coming to e8, so this is actually a pretty tough situation for white. Did a great job defending, though. Queen b3. I absolutely do not want to trade queens into an ending when I'm just down a pawn. And it also kills my attack. You need queens on the board to attack, so here comes rook e8, king d1. That's as safe as you can be. Queen a6 trying to slip in here. And bishop f1, which is a sneaky little resource. Bishop coming to f1. Okay, it undevelops like maybe your only developed piece. But it's kind of annoying for me to find a square. So I play here d3, the very ambitious try. And now you're playing here c4, which is equally ambitious, trying to take this pawn. You would go 2 pawns up. The thing is, it doesn't bring you any closer to the race to bring out your pieces, right? And again, now, even if you get this pawn, where is the king going that's going to be safe? It's never going to be safe here. I have knight d4. I think I fell into the trap of really trying to win this game very quickly, when in reality, in this position, okay, queen e6, it was still a good move. But I can probably take some time to play king f7, bring the other rook out. Okay, queen e6 played. Yeah, I mean, I'm threatening queen e1, right, which is literally just checkmate, right? The development is just that poor. Queen e3, I can just kind of move this out the way. Just kind of move this out the way. Rook is hitting the queen, and now knight takes f3, rook e1, and other ideas of winning that. So in the game, bishop to g2. Nice, nice. I mean, it's still defending everything. And here, yeah, I mean, my best move by far is knight h5, trying to come to f4, and something I considered. I rejected it, I think, because of queen e3, but this doesn't really make any sense. I don't really know why I would, or queen e4 or something, I think I was thinking about, but I just need a step away, and I'm attacking it. Yeah, knight coming to f4 is now going to be very strong, hitting here, and those pieces are, you know, what's holding white's position together. So yeah, should have used that knight. I consider knight h5 and knight d7, as I recall, here or here. But yeah, the knight's not doing anything, because this pawn does a very good job of stringing its squares. Now, this was the maneuver that got me, because the pawn is totally in the way of this bishop. Instead, I went for knight g4, and we were both low on time, but yes, this was playable. It wasn't obvious, but at the end of this line, you do have rook to f1 with the pin. So Engine's actually saying I have to go for that draw, as aforementioned here with check. And yeah, just knight d4 and repeat. Interesting stuff. So knight g4, but rook f1, which looks like it was the best move, but I had a very, very nice queen sacrifice. Yeah, no, I mean, everything you did was very, very logical. But here, yes, I had a very nice queen sacrifice, and thank you for letting me put it on the board there with knight to f2 and the knights getting you. Yeah, tough stuff that you didn't get the queen side out in time. I think here, yeah, this was really the moment. I mean, you defended well even after that. But yes, e6 was very, very ambitious. I think other than e6, I think you played an excellent game. But here, yeah, b4 and knight a3 was the way to go so that it wouldn't be captured. Tough to play because your king is still in the middle. But, okay, maybe you can just find some safety. And it's also not obvious how I develop either, with the knights coming to c4 and potentially d6 as well. But very, very well played. You played against me once in Washington Square Park. Awesome. Yeah, I'm there sometimes. Yeah, the battle over d4, just like the Stafford ambush guests. Yeah, that's me. Those are the lines I'm playing with the bishop. I love that idea. There's a few ideas that you guys see repeatedly that I love, like whether that's like queen e1, queen h4, or whether that's queen takes f3, hitting the bishop and hitting the pawn, or like just the bishop here, controlling the g1 square, stopping my opponents from castling. Or another one I like is knight there pressuring a bishop while trying to trap that bishop, so that we force h3 to create a square, and then we take it, force f takes g3. These are things I love. These are like there's a lot of really nice patterns in chess. And kind of keep repeating, and so hopefully these are ones you can use in your own games. All right, Sean, thank you so much for the game. Thank you so much, all of y'all. Really appreciate you guys for tuning in to the stream. Subscribe on YouTube. I think it's great stuff. Go to the link tree here, linktr.ee/wgrafe. Join the streamer battle tomorrow. I will link it again. Wait, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss this. You're not going to want to miss this. First, let me... This is an awesome arena where you will play with me against other streamers. will be playing with me against other streamers. You join here. And here. Gambit chats. There's no link to that. It's kind of annoying. The Discord is here on the link tree. So is the whole opening repertoire and everything you would ever want to play. And the Discord is there. Join it. Awesome community. Share games. Share opening ideas. Everything else. Become a Gambit Chad. Oh, my username is WGrafe. Yeah, but it's also there if you join the Discord. Will watch but won't play. Okay, that's fine. But you should play. Alright. Appreciate y'all. And I will see y'all next time on stream.